you know, at least on the enterprise side of returns. Like it's early, like it's in the experimental phase, but we're seeing the enterprise side. And then on the hyperscale side, I think there's already getting returns on this. You have to remember the folks that are building this stuff out, and this is one other difference maybe from, say 2000, 2001. The companies that are doing the bulk of the spending are some of the most well-funded and most profitable businesses that humanity has ever developed. And they're not idiots, right? And they can see things that we can't. And they've also got other businesses that they're running this stuff through that they're already getting returns on. Google's getting returns on the stuff. Like Meta's getting returns.
That sounds like it's different this time, though. But some of the circular financing and some of the companies that are you know, in these weird incestuous relationships with each other where they're each dependent on the other for... It reminds me a little bit. Remember the mergers back in the .com? You would exchange, you know, 2 overpriced cats for one overpriced dog, and you know, none of the stock was real. So none of the valuations were real. I don't know if any of that's similar, but even yesterday, Pat Gelsinger said there's no doubt we're in some type of bubble, not one that's ready to pop, and maybe. You know, everyone points to NVIDIA's valuation is not anywhere near stratospheric. I mean, in terms of the multiple to earnings or sales, it's not so bad. Maybe.
Look, so I'm not sure Gel's ability to speak on this, frankly, but that's neither here nor there. Like we'll be
hear
good. Okay. In terms of some of these like quote unquote circular range, I mean, look. So the biggie was NVIDIA, right? And that $100 billion number kind of raised eyebrows. Remember, it's not $100 billion right away. It's $10 billion. It's at first. It's actually staged with the notes. So I think that's good. And look, like NVIDIA doesn't have anything else to do with their cash, right? They're generating hundreds of billions of dollars of free cash flow, right? They can't do M&A. They have a dividend and a buyback, but relative to their market cap, it's tiny. So like I'm hard-pressed to think of anything better that they could do with that cash than to grow and support the overall AI ecosystem. And the money's not going into the ether. Like they're getting what will presumably be valuable OpenAI stock, like I guess at that point. And you have to remember, even with that $100 billion, assuming they deployed, OpenAI is going to need a lot more money than that. Like they're not going to be the only investors in there by a mile. To me, the AMD one raises a little more eyebrows. AMD actually gave OpenAI, well, they gave them equity, like in return for being allowed to sell them stuff. Although I kind of understand that as well. Like AMD, I mean, look, like Lisa has to be on the OpenAI rocket ship. It really is OpenAI and Altman that's driving a lot of this. And if AMD is not there, they completely lose out. So Lisa had to get on that rocket as any way she could. She bought her ticket. It's working. Like I'm not going to knock them. Like their is going up, but I would read that in some sense in terms of like the relative competitiveness of the products. Like nobody else had to, you know, give up something in return for the privilege of selling to them. Okay, Stacy, thank you. Good choice. Good semiconductors. Good. You know, I'd like to cover like Frito chips to read. I do. I am, and I do a lot of research.
You are an expert.
I do a lot of research on those. A little twisty honey barbecue.
Frito pie.
Frito pie.
Chili.
Yeah. Coming up, breakdown of this week's big geopolitical news, from the peace deal in the Middle East to the president's planned meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky. That's next. Squawk Box coming right back.
Sarah Benzino, Brandon Coley, Jablonski Auto Body, LLC.
Yeah! Woo! What did she call Harper?
Oh, you mean Jablonski Auto Body, LLC.
We actually sold the Twins naming rights.
You know, like stadiums do. Kids are so expensive these days. Here he comes.
Oasis Breeze Tan and Spa.
Yeah! If you need a tan, I'm your man.
Could do business with you.
Or we can look at some investment options for you.
Works for us.
The right money moves aren't as absurd as you think.
Nearly home.
Who done it?
We're looking for a house closer to everything, but we don't know where to start.
Find it with Realtor.com. With Real Commute, it's easy to find a home closer to what's ever close to your heart. Do y'all recycle? Realtor.com.
At Public, the high-yield cash account's a no-brainer. I know my money's working hard for me, and I know I can access it anytime I need it. It's very simple. Better rates mean faster growth, and that's exactly what I need.
In a world of conformity, it's often the innovative that stand out. At FlexJet, we've built a state-of-the-art operations control center with an international fleet of private jets and helicopters. Our Red Label crews are leading the way in pilot compensation, all supported by one of the world's largest maintenance networks. This is our timeless dedication to you. That's why we're outgrowing the competition 2-1. At FlexJet, you won't just be flown, you'll be moved.
Overtime's about understanding what just happened in the markets that day and preparing for tomorrow. I'm looking to talk to sophisticated investors, beginning investors. I'm always learning.
Closing Bell Overtime, weekdays 4 Eastern and streaming on CNBC+.
To throw the best tailgates in Texas, you need the highest quality beef and HEB certified meat cutters like me.
And me. We hand cut and grind fresh beef 7 days a week.
High quality beef and custom cuts. No one does tailgating like HEB.
I got something coming up.
This fall, get ready to think fast and eat faster at Raising Cane's. With hand-battered and cooked-to-order chicken fingers. So grab a box combo and catch.
My name's Chad Powers. 1, 2, 3.
Introducing Verts. Swipe for news and highlights. Now available on the ESPN app.
Ukrainian President Zelensky expected to join President Trump at the White House later this week for talks on the Russia-Ukraine war. This is after the president's visit to the Middle East and the ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. Joining us now to break these issues down, as well as the latest tensions with China, Heritage Foundation National Security and Foreign Policy Vice President Victoria Coates. She served in the first Trump administration as Deputy National Security Advisor, and it's good to see you. Victoria, thanks for joining us.
Great to see you, Joe.
I think initially most people were, or at least the president was focused on Russia and Ukraine, and all of a sudden the Middle East, did it become so? I'm not sure what happened exactly. I guess a confluence of different developments with the decline of the proxies and the Israeli war and Fordo and all these things happened, and suddenly is the Russia conflict on the back burner, or is Putin is it impossible to deal with this dictator?
No, I think you're right. I think this is a confluence of events that the president found coming into office in January. He had the Ukraine war, he had the war in Gaza to deal with. Both very difficult problem sets. But as the year has gone on with the Gaza war, he had as you said, the action in Iran, which definitely changed the battlefield. And then, his trip to the Middle East, where he was able to sort of lay the predicate for the diplomacy we saw on display yesterday. So he got to a resolution of that conflict. But I do think these things are related, Joe, in that the momentum behind resolving the Gaza conflict, I think, can help get to a resolution of the Ukraine war. I think at the rest of all these other countries that the president was meeting with yesterday, getting behind conflict resolution, maybe putting some pressure on Putin to come to the table. So this can have a positive effect on Ukraine.
So the Gaza war, I don't know, can we say that's over? Hopefully that's over. But is the war in the Middle East between, I guess, revolving around the existential threat to Israel, is that over? Won't Hamas, someone's going to step up and decide Israel has no right to exist? I just don't, at least in my view, it's been going on for so long, since 1947 or something? And I was mentioning Anwar Sadat and Menachem Begin and all the things that we've seen happen over the years. The switch just doesn't get flipped on this, does it?
Well, it might. So it's 1948, the formation of modern Israel, more than 75 years ago. The thing that's different now is all those countries that the president met with in Egypt yesterday, they're not trying to wipe Israel off the map anymore. They're trying to find a way to make friends with Israel, because Israel really is the powerhouse in the Middle East. It's a thriving democracy, also a thriving economy. And interestingly, even during these 2 years of war, the Israeli stock market is the best performing market in the Middle East. 2 years of war. This is an incredible achievement. So all of those countries would like to make money with Israel. They'd like to have technology sharing with Israel. That's different now. They don't want to destroy Israel, and Hamas is really the outlier now. Nobody particularly cares. The president used the word irrelevant in his speech to the Knesset yesterday, that they just don't matter that much anymore. And if they won't come to the terms that all of these countries and Israel agreed to, that 20-point plan, if they don't get on board with that, no one's going to pay any attention to them, and Israel's just going to go in and mop them up. That's going to be ugly, but that is the option there for Hamas. So I think we might actually see that switch flip.
That's amazing. I mean, it really is that everybody was hoping for it. It just seemed like it would never come. But I guess, like I said, I think I said that yesterday too. Things happen gradually and then all at once. But I mean, you can throw Syria in there. You can throw all these, I guess, the Abraham Accords in the first administration. Saudi Arabia wanting to come into the 21st century in a more realistic way. It's really an amazing time to be alive to be watching this victory. I mean, are you surprised that it happened or not really? It's the Arab Spring we've been waiting for, isn't it?
Well, yes. And I mean, I'm a little bit surprised that it happened this quickly, but no, I mean, this is really the big change from the first Trump term, which is he decided he wasn't going to wait on the Palestinians to get to additional peace deals between Israel and Arab neighbors. So that's how we got to the Abraham Accords with Morocco, UAE, and Bahrain. And the great thing about the Abraham Accords is, again, during these 2 years of grinding war, they've endured. Nobody pulled out. Nobody froze them. They've continued on. And last year we saw the biggest trade between UAE and Israel in history. They've really expanded economic ties, even given the crisis. So I think that was really the turning point. But now I think the president's work at the United Nations last month, where he really put the foundation in place for this deal, that's what has gotten us to what happened yesterday. And the sky's the limit going forward. And the question is to the Palestinians, do they want to take what's on offer to them to build a more secure, prosperous future for themselves, or do they want to stick with the failures of the past? So that's really up to them.
Because it was only a couple months ago, Victor, I remember the president talking, I think it was Keir Starmer, and a reporter asked, are you going to back the two-state solution? And he wouldn't really answer the question. And then all the Euros did come out and sort of break with the United States and back that. What happened to that? Did that get rectified in this latest agreement? That's off the table now?
It really was a pointless kind of episode of diplomatic posturing at the United Nations last month, where you had Canada, the UK, as you said, France, Germany, Australia, all countries that should have known better, come out and recognize some kind of Palestinian entity, which was totally non-binding. They didn't have the authority to do it. So it was, as I said, theater. And it really could have set back the president's effort, because it encourages the Palestinians to think that they can continue to resist, continue to attack Israel. And instead, as the president laid out, there is no Palestinian state in the 20-point plan. There is a recognition that the Palestinians want a state, but they have to meet all sorts of requirements to get to that point. And so instead of, trying to put the cart before the horse, if you will, and say, oh my goodness, they have a state. Instead, no, you're going to try to create a governing body. You're going to create this board of peace. You're going to create the aid flows that need to go into Gaza and the rebuilding effort. And then maybe we can talk about a state. So no, that was an absolutely ridiculous episode. And as I said, they should have known better.
Well, we're going to talk Zelensky and Russia, Ukraine, but I don't know if there's any, things just seem stuck in the mud there, for so long, and it's depressing to even talk about. But something's got to give eventually, you would think. Well, let's do that next time, Victoria, and we'll focus on the positive events in the Middle East the last couple of days. Thanks.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay.
When we come back, a CNBC scoop on Disney's succession calculus. Alex Sherman joins us with the details right after this.
Crypto staking just hit Wall Street. For the first time ever, staking rewards are available through a US-listed ETF. Introducing SSK, the Rex Osprey Sol plus staking ETF. Solana exposure with staking rewards built in. Convenient, cost-effective. Solana, staked on your behalf. All through a simple ETF. SSK from Rex Osprey. Not suitable for all investors. Investors should carefully review the fund's prospectus for objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. Visit rexshares.com to obtain it and read carefully before investing. Distributed by Foresight Fund Services.
I'm Darren, and this is my TimberTech story. We had wood here before. The maintenance and trying to look after it's just impossible down here. You can't do it. On TimberTech, it's maintenance free. The advanced PVC from the naked eye, it looks as if it's real wood. There simply isn't anything better. We have historically got big hurricanes here, and we have no worries about the decking out here at all because it's so strong. Playing golf for a living, I'm traveling all the time. Knowing that we have TimberTech, that's one less thing we've got to worry about. TimberTech, it's everything wood should be.
Time is your most important asset, and AI is transforming the speed of business. Your innovation and how you protect it depends on the technology you choose to trust. 70% of the Fortune 100 trust CrowdStrike's leading AI-native cybersecurity platform, built to secure their business and the AI fueling their innovation. AI is changing the world. We're securing it. CrowdStrike. We stop breaches.
Did you know that your life insurance policy is an asset that you can sell? Hi, I'm Jay Jackson. I'm the CEO of Abacus Life, and for almost 20 years, we've been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. In fact, you can use the free policy value calculator at abacuspays.com, and in just seconds, you can learn what your policy might be worth. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus.
Searching for the perfect underwear? Tommy John combines innovation and excellence in every pair. Available in multi-packs, Tommy John's breathable second skin underwear is even softer than cotton with up to 4 times the stretch of competing brands. We've also crafted indulgently soft second skin sleepwear for luxurious evenings and mornings. Invest in your comfort worry-free. If you don't love your first purchase, we'll make it right. Because if you dress to the nines, your underwear should be a 10. Go to TommyJohn.com now for 20% off your first order.
CNBC. Live ambitiously. Never miss a moment.
Are we going to make the sportswear and the sneakers in this country ever?
The hurdle is not the ability to manufacture, it's the material sourcing.
You have to position yourself like it's October 99. All the ingredients are in place for some kind of a blow-off.
We have to find a nuanced strategy that allows America to win AI developers around the world and win AI markets around the world.
Instagram rolling out more protections for users under the age of 18. It will prohibit them from seeing content that would be considered inappropriate for a PG-13 rated movie. Parent company Meta will use AI to determine whether content qualifies as PG-13. Those new settings will also hide posts with strong language, certain risky stunts, and drug content. Teenagers will automatically be opted into this new stricter settings, and they won't be able to change them without a parent's permission. Meta previously announced that it would use AI to determine when teens might be lying about their age to circumvent the restrictions. And yes, applause for this. We like to see anything like this that is put to good use for that. So yay. New this morning, CNBC has learned that Disney has considered a co-CEO structure to replace Bob Iger. The company plans to announce a successor early next year. CNBC's Alex Sherman wrote that story, and he joins us right now. Alex, good morning.
Hey, Becky, there has been a trend of co-CEO structure namings over the past month or so. You've seen it with Comcast, you've seen it with Spotify, you've seen it with Oracle. Oracle had a co-CEO structure even before, but now there's 2 new people there. And so you've got Disney coming up with an announced succession plan. Disney has said they plan to name a new CEO to replace Bob Iger as CEO in early 2026. So it was only natural, I think, for me to think about, look, maybe Disney is next up to do a co-CEO structure. So what I learned is that last year, Bob Iger had a discussion with Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos. Netflix, yet another company that has a co-CEO structure. And Iger asked Sarandos, how does this work? What do you think of it? And basically, Ted Sarandos told Iger, look, this is how things have worked at Netflix. It's at least an indication that the Disney board is considering a co-CEO structure. And the logical two candidates, if Disney were to go in that direction, would be Dana Walden, who is the co-chair of Disney Entertainment, has long been in charge of the Disney TV side of operations, and Josh D'Amaro, who's the head of the parks. It has been since Bob Chapek left to become the CEO several years ago. Insiders say that these two candidates have really long been the two favorites for the job, at least internally.
So it's still speculative at this point that they could be considering this. I can see where it would make sense, but you could also see where if they did something like that, maybe Bob Iger would stick around as chairman. Because frankly, the co-CEO roles rarely work, rarely last for long. And when there is a co-CEO that works, you kind of know who the real person in charge is.
That's exactly right. And that's what my story is about on CNBC.com this morning, which is that even with these examples of other co-CEO structures working, Disney has a lot of reasons not to go in this direction. First is that, as you mentioned, in most of these situations, the co-founder or controlling shareholder ends up being the executive chairman of the board, because general corporate governance professors will tell you that co-CEOs are basically no one's CEO. In other words, if two people are in charge, then no one is in charge.
Right,
and the
but if
real
you make one person the chairman, the real person in charge, the chairman, and two co-CEOs, that's basically just grade inflation or title inflation.
And Bob Iger could be elevated to executive chairman. Bob Iger has been the CEO and 5 times has pushed back his retirement to stay CEO. But Iger is not a controlling shareholder of Disney. So that makes him a little different than a Reed Hastings at Netflix or a Brian Roberts at Comcast or Larry Ellison at Oracle.
Yeah, but they missed him when he was gone.
They certainly did. And they may want to keep Bob Iger around for as long as possible. And maybe this is a way that you could do that.
They first tried this in 509 BC.
Is that what you looked up?
That is. Co-counsels in Rome. And guess what?
One of them got killed?
It didn't work then.
Yeah, it didn't work very well.
It didn't work back then. I was trying to rack my brains. John Reed, who was he with? Was Corzine? Wasn't Corzine?
Yeah.
And then he at Goldman, and it has never ever worked.
Except in Comcast case.
And
yeah. No, that's different.
It is different. It is
well
because one of them's the owner, one's the guy who
exactly.
Golden Boy. Yeah. Like I said, you kind of know it's got to be in a very unique position, and those people have to choose to work together, not have somebody else foist it on them. Alex, thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up, economist Jared Bernstein out with a new warning calling artificial intelligence the third bubble of this century.
Arranged marriage, where you get told that you're going to be.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
At IHG Hotels and Resorts, you can simply arrive or make an entrance. Stick to the agenda or experience something unexpected. With IHG's 20 hotel brands, you can guest how you guest.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Finally, a platform that thinks like you. The new Power E-Trade Pro gives you nearly unlimited customization with up to 120 tools and charts across 6 workspaces, plus automatic pattern recognition from the original place to trade online.
Your daughter's turning 9 today, and your company's merger is turning on you. Time isn't on your side, but the team is. Specialists who know data, strategy, and finance.
Ben, what do you got for me?
Not what, it's who.
Hi, everyone. The dream team.
A team that knows you can't enjoy your daughter's big day, worried about your company's reputation. Deloitte. Together makes progress.
weeknights.
Of course, I always worry when a stock goes up as much as NVIDIA has, but stocks are risk assets, so if you're not concerned about risk, well, then you're in the wrong business.
Mad Money, weeknights 6 Eastern and streaming on CNBC+.
It's nice when your days have a rhythm. But what happens to that flow when you go from working to retirement? A free personalized retirement income plan from Fidelity can help you make the transition wherever life takes you. It can help you keep your income and investments on target and give you a clear view of your cash flow so you can feel free to explore. Fidelity can help you take on retirement.
You founded your kayak company because you love the ocean, not spreadsheets. You need to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Visit Indeed.com/hire.
And if I wear a sweater, I'm not going to be able to see. Oh, hey, there you are. Are you ready to go watch some more me? No, not this time. I'm wide awake. I'm not going to fall.
Welcome back to Squawk Box on CNBC. The futures are near their lows for the session, almost 350 points on the Dow. NASDAQ taking it on the chin, down 300. Treasuries yields have moved up a little bit after almost breaking under 4% again on the 10-year. And then oil is down below 60, and Bitcoin is giving back a recent rebound. It was 125, had that big sell-off on Friday, got back to 115 or so. Now 111 this morning.
In a New York Times op-ed that's out this morning, President Biden's former chief economist says that it's time to call the third bubble of our century the AI bubble. Joining us right now is Jared Bernstein. He served as the former President Biden's Council of Economic Advisors chairman. He's now a policy fellow at the Stanford Institute for Economic Policy Research. And Jared, thank you for joining us this morning. This is a big call. You think that what we're seeing right now officially is a bubble?
Well, my co-author Ryan Cummings and I, also from CEPR, think that that's the likely outcome. You know, the problem with bubbles is it's hard to know if they're really what you think they are until it's too late. But there are a number of characteristics: rapidly rising asset prices, which we sure have in AI, really some very extreme valuations. And if you look at things like, NVIDIA trading at roughly 55 times earnings, highly profitable companies, let's be clear about that. We point out that the share of the economy devoted to AI investment is nearly a third greater than the share of the economy devoted to internet-related investments back during the dot-com bubble. So we think there are enough analogies there to make the call.
As you mentioned, there are profits behind a number of these companies, the big ones. And we just had a chip analyst on a little bit ago, kind of told him about your thesis. He said he thinks we're still in the early stages of this. And part of that is because the ones who are spending the money on this are the biggest, most profitable, and most successful companies in history. He thinks they're not stupid. When you see the likes of a Meta, a Microsoft, an Amazon, NVIDIA, all of these companies agreeing to put so much money into it, it does read differently than what we saw, let's say, back in 2001 with the internet bubble, when most of those companies had a lot of demand but no profits.
Right. Meta not equal to pets.com.
Right.
So I take your, I take your point, and I agree with many of the things that analyst said, but there are a couple of nuances that go in the other direction. First of all, you can have a bubble with completely profitable and technologically innovative firms investing into the bubble. What really defines the bubble is that the gap between the level of speculation, the level of investment, and credible, reasonable expectations of future profits is extremely wide. That's one of the things that defines a bubble. Another thing that defines a bubble is the extent of investment in the specific area we're talking about. So a lot of the profits of the companies that are in the Mag 7, not so much NVIDIA, because their chips really do feed right into AI, but Ryan pointed this out this morning in something he wrote. A lot of those profits are coming from other things. They're coming from ads and clouds and Amazon, which sells pretty much everything under the sun. If you actually look at the AI investments, they tend to be a small share of that. So that actually contributes to the bubble hypothesis.
Hey, Jared, people point to NVIDIA as being reasonable, and you use the trailing 12-month price to earnings. So in the last 3 years, excluding non-recurring items, the growth rate for EPS at NVIDIA is 88%. And even in the last year, it's almost 60%. So next year, I mean, obviously nobody knows, but it's not going to be 53 times earnings. It's probably closer to 30 times earnings.
Yeah,
and if it has a growth rate of above 50%, that's not that expensive. It's nothing close to what we were looking at in 1999, where it was infinity times earnings for a lot of those. And I'm not trying to be a fanboy for NVIDIA, but I'm just wondering which multiple we really use to get an accurate look at whether it's overvalued or not.
Right, it's a great point. You can only get so much in a 700-word op-ed, but the future oriented PE measures look different than the trailing ones. So
because it's growing so fast. I mean, it's crazy.
No, your point is well taken. Again, the thing that we're concerned about, we haven't even talked about this yet. It's actually, I think, one of the more sort of value adds piece in our op-ed, because the bubble conversation is pretty much ongoing. The thing we're concerned about is not so much that these companies, especially NVIDIA, can't defend their investments. It's the extent to which regular mom and pop investors are getting into this bubble in a way that's, should it pop, if it pops, we could have a really large negative wealth effect. We're talking hundreds of billions of dollars. This is the idea that you gain $1 in stock market wealth, you spend an extra 3 cents. That's the wealth effect. Right. So what really took down the economy in the dot-com bubble was in part a wealth effect, which was actually quite small. Any contraction in GDP there was minimal. This is a lot bigger. So we're worried about the extent of investment relative to where we were back then, and the extent to which, should it pop, it will hurt consumer spending, which kind of feeds into some already underlying fragilities in the real economy.
That's a fair point. I guess the question is the fragility of any of this. If you saw, let's say, Meta bring down its CapEx spending by 25 or 50%, that would probably spook investors to a large extent. And by the way, Meta changed its name from Facebook to Meta based on where Mark Zuckerberg thought the metaverse was going to be at some point, and that has not turned out the way they thought.
Right. I mean, look, every day we're speculating in markets. So a bubble is hard to identify because it's a degree of speculation that goes well beyond the norm. And that's what we think we're seeing. I mean, when you have a share of the economy devoted to AI investment that at this point really surpasses what we saw with the dot-com, and when you see a level of profitability, not from the overall companies, but from AI itself, that's really quite minimal. OpenAI said they were going to need $1 trillion of investment this year, and their AI revenue is $13 billion. Now, again, Joe's point is well taken. You've got to account for future earnings. But to us and many others, that divergence between credibly plausible expected future earnings and this level of investment certainly looks bubbly.
All right. How about a lightning round? Is one of my favorite Biden administration Democrats. Are you ready?
I think so.
What do you think of the government shutdown to try and get health care?
It's the only leverage the Democrats have right now, and I think it's reasonable for them to be elevating the issue.
Oh boy, listen to you. But what if some crazy fiscal hawk on the Republican side said the only way to deal with $38 trillion is to shut the government down when Democrats are in power because they're spending too much money? Would you have said that was okay? You would not have said that. Okay.
I don't see any fiscal hawks on the Republican side. I don't see a bunch.
You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. You hated shutdowns. Okay, how about this? Have you endorsed Mamdani yet? Have you endorsed Mamdani yet and his brand of economics?
Those fiscal hawks on the Republican side, I call them chicken hawks. That is, they make the deficit look much worse, and then all of a sudden they become fiscal hawks.
You're avoiding the okay. How about who you backing for mayor of New York City, even though you don't live here?
Yeah, I leave that to the folks who live there. I think
punting again.
I think Mamdani is really impressive. I think his communication skills, his focus on affordability, I really like that. I think he's going to have some headaches trying to get his policies through Albany, but good for him for trying.
Good for him for trying to get some of those are literally socialist policies we're talking about, Jared. I mean, I've always thought you were a socialist, but I never thought you'd say it out loud.
What are we talking about? I'm talking about making groceries more affordable, rent more affordable.
By publicly owned supermarkets. And come on, Jared.
My point is that he's tackling what I think is the most important problem.
He's aware of some problems, and he has the worst possible solutions to fix them, and you're okay with that. You know, the best way to get rid of. If you want to make healthcare more affordable, let's kill everyone at 70. I mean, these are ridiculous ideas.
If you want to make healthcare more affordable, do what the Democrats are saying and restore the premium tax credits for coverage under the ACA. That's not the only problem.
You know that Obamacare, that's not the only problem. The expiring tax credits subsidies isn't the only problem.
I came here to talk about a nonpartisan vote.
I know, I had to get you going. All right, JB.
I do know that Republican actions have made healthcare a lot less affordable.
And Democratic actions have made it a lot less. They're co-conspirators here. Thanks, Jared Bernstein.
Thank you.
See? You think I should have done that? I think so. Coming up, former Barclays CEO Bob Diamond joins us to talk about the markets, the kickoff of earnings season, crypto volatility. We're coming right back.
He sure knows these parts well.
Folks say the planes whisper to him.
Outlaws in 500 feet. Rerouting.
Making a left!
Innovation changes everything.
Man, he's good.
With one investment, you can access the NASDAQ 100 innovators who are rethinking the world. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
At Morgan Stanley, old school hard work meets bold new thinking. To help you see untapped possibilities and relentlessly work with you to make them real.
Investing. You buy low, sell high, jump on that trend, ride the wave. Stop. That's not how investing works. You're not a child playing a game. This is grown-up business. The real thing. You know wealth isn't won in a bet. Luck is not a strategy, and success demands discipline. You're serious about investing, right?
Small business owners, you got to stop doing what you're doing. Why? Because bookkeeping sucks. You shouldn't be doing it yourself. So go to Zendu.com, and what you're going to get there is a trusted financial partner, so you can do what you do best. Run your business. Zendu.com.
Hi, I'm Jay Jackson. For almost 20 years, Abacus Life has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors. And in just seconds, you can use the free calculator at abacuspays.com to learn what your policy might be worth.
The premiums were getting unreasonable.
We just didn't need the coverage anymore. Don't sell or lapse your policy without going to abacuspays.com first. There are no fees and no obligations. Get the real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus.
Welcome to the Now Way to Network. They switched to Juniper's AI native network. Now everyone's so productive, they're operating at a higher gear. Now their network is self-configuring, self-detecting, and self-healing. So their IT team deals with up to 90% fewer network trouble tickets.
Whoa, what was that?
Just the sound barrier. That's the Now Way to Network at work, with real AI, putting you in the fast lane.
Now, these really, I think, are some of the worst levels we've seen. Futures deteriorating at this hour, now down almost 450 points, I think, on the 425 on the Dow. Joining us now on the markets, is Bob Diamond. He is the CEO of Atlas Merchant Capital, former CEO of Barclays. We just had a discussion about a bubble in AI. Andrew has his book out. In fact, he's going to a place that might some days have higher ratings than us, one of our sister networks, to talk about his new book, 1929.
Yeah.
We had all the bank earnings today as well. In general, how are you feeling about the market and the economy?
The bank earnings are indicative of how I feel. I think that there's so many tailwinds behind the banks right now, particularly this administration, and compare and contrast this to Janet Yellen and Gary Gensler. It's just amazing. I think on regulation, they're not only prepared to regulate digital assets and crypto, but they're looking at integrating that with traditional finance. They're positive on mergers and accepting mergers. I think most importantly, they've been pretty clear that they want to simplify capital rules and not necessarily reduce them, but probably keep them the same and potentially reduce a little bit. They see the banks as important to lending to consumers, lending to small businesses, buying treasuries. It's another form of easing, if you will. So I think the tailwinds from that, and Becky, the other thing that I think is important is the yield curve. You got 100 basis points between the 30s and the 2 years,
right,
and you have rates maybe a little bit higher than people expect. This is like a perfect environment for the banks. And I'm not surprised at all that from what I saw this morning, pretty much everyone beat expectations, and I think expectations were pretty buoyant.
So you don't see any of these potential bubble areas, bigger issues, things that might take down either the economy or the markets?
I think the issue we're facing with the markets is we keep getting these little mini shocks, like, tariffs on China. But tariffs aren't new. Like, there's no policy has changed, but we're seeing some of the implementation of that policy provide shocks. And you see huge volatility. We saw, $20 billion wiped out through valuations in digital coins, in addition to kind of the stock market.
System, and that's,
it was
those are
exactly
the
that.
That surprise you and make you think, okay, are there bigger issues here with some of the factoring issues we've had in private lending?
If you look at the kind of the core of Andrew's book, it's leverage is usually the cause.
Yeah.
And I do think there's some leverage in the system. Vendor finance. I mean, I'm a banker, right? That's always a little bit of a red flag.
Now you're getting into some of the AI stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think that's, indicative of the kinds of things we see. Yeah. I mean, I'm very, very, it's really interesting in AI, Joe, which is, I think both things can be true, which is, I think it's going to be profound and, it's already being executed across every business. Even I use AI. My alma mater, Colby College, already has a major. They've had it for 4 or 5 years. So this is real. And I think you can believe that and question valuations at any given point. If you look at 2000, when, .com kind of crashed, no one would say that it really disrupted, the medium to long-term view of the internet. And I think right now the fundamental issue is that what's happening in AI is real. And everybody that I know is using it, and it's going to have a big impact. I think the important thing is it's going to have a big impact on productivity. And it's going to have a big impact, I believe, on dampening inflation.
So, all in all, peace breaking out in some parts of the world. Some of these things can come back and be... Yeah, can come back and be positive, can't they? How about just in general corporate confidence in the new environment here? Is it because I hear that they're just scared of Trump, so they don't criticize him, or are some of them embracing what was in the big beautiful bill and some of the deregulation? Not the tariffs, maybe.
It's a tremendous amount of noise around politics and execution of policy and things like that. But go back to banks for a second. I was in the UK last week.
That's your fort, yeah.
Yeah, I was in the UK last week, and you look at the performance of the US banks versus the UK banks or the European banks. It's still something that is very, very, this country should be very proud of, is that the banks are executing very, very well in an environment pretty positive. So corporate confidence is strong. I think the confidence of the CEOs of the U.S. banks are strong. We're still very, very positive on regional and community banks. I think Secretary of the Treasury Bessent has been outspoken in terms of the importance of regional and community banks and how much he's going to support the consolidation in that sector. So it's a good time.
Bob Diamond, thank you.
Good to see you, Bob.
Good to see you. Squawk Box will be right back.
Behind this advisor are Vanguard's institutional quality bond funds, powered by a deep bench of experts who have outperformed peers over the last 10 years. Are you backed by institutional quality bond funds? Vanguard, disciplined that
At the Farmer's Dog, our fresh food plans keep dogs moving and shaking.
Do you care where the economy is headed? What about elections? Or climate change? See the forecast consensus on our future at IBKR Forecast Trader. If you disagree, you can buy the contract that looks undervalued. But be careful. You must be right more than 50.5% of the time to win. Go to IBKR Forecast Trader.
It starts simply. A first meeting, a thoughtful question, a quiet moment of trust. From there, it grows into shared goals, honest conversations, and a plan shaped around your life's ambitions. Because the connection between you and your financial advisor is everything. And by investing in it, Raymond James has built a firm where things that start simply have boundless potential.
Wednesday, financial experts, investors, and policymakers gather in D.C. for critical conversations on America's economy. CNBC's Invest in America Forum. Learn more at cnbcevents.com/invest.
To throw the best tailgates in Texas, you need the highest quality beef and HEB certified meat cutters like me.
And me. As experts in all things meat, we hand cut and grind fresh beef 7 days a week.
Need a custom order for game day? We'll make the cut.
We'll even tell you the best way to cook, season, and serve it up.
High quality beef and custom cuts. No one does tailgating like HEB. One more reason that?
At my HEB, here, everything's better.
I got something coming up.
This fall, get ready to think fast and eat faster at Raising Cane's. With hand-battered and cooked-to-order chicken fingers. So grab a box combo and catch.
My name's Chad Powers. 1, 2, 3.
Breaking on Squawk Box this morning, General Motors announcing its third quarter results will include a $1.6 billion charge because of a pullback in its electric vehicle ambitions. Johnson & Johnson CEO telling us that the company plans to separate its orthopedics business into a standalone unit. And Oracle Cloud announcing that it will deploy 50,000 AMD AI chips next year. AMD shares rising on that news. Let's take one quick look at the markets before we hand things off. And it's been in the red all morning. Now the Dow futures down by more than 375 points. NASDAQ futures off by 300. The S&P futures down by 65. At the last I saw, Goldman Sachs was the biggest decliner on the Dow. It was down by about 3%. But we'll continue to watch this because this is obviously across the board.
The Dow component.
A lot of companies.
Goldman Sachs. Yeah.
Quick.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, thanks for that.
Okay, now it's down by 2.4%. So there's
JP Morgan's off a little, but
a little bit too. This is some weakness basically across the board. Folks, that does it for us today. We will see you right back here tomorrow. Right now it's time for Squawk on the Street.
Good Tuesday morning. Welcome to Squawk on the Street. I'm Carl Quintanilla with David Faber here at Post 9 of the New York Stock Exchange. Kramer's in San Francisco as Dreamforce gets underway today. Futures giving back most of Monday's bounce as China rhetoric heats up.
Good morning. Looks like gold is dumping hard. Wow, 80 points.
First busy day of Q3 earnings, 10-year 402. Our roadmap begins with earnings season underway with the banks. JP Morgan's trading revenue hits a record. Goldman and Wells also beating the street.
Plus, we have more deals. What else is new, of course, in the AI industry? It has a number of chip stocks that are on the move this morning. We'll try and break all those down for you. And BlackRock's assets hit a record of almost $13.5 trillion. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink will join us exclusively right here at Post 9. We'll talk about the results and get his outlook for the markets.
Let's begin with the big banks kicking off earnings season today, including JP Morgan Chase posting a quarterly beat helped by strength in trading and IB. Jim, a lot to dig through this morning. I don't know if you want to start with the banks themselves or some of your commentary on how speculative parts of the market, as you say, wagging the dog.
Right. Well, I do think that I want to start with speculation, if only just because speculation seems to be driving what happened even early in the morning. When you wake up and you see crypto down and you see the quantum stocks down and you see the stocks that are related to flying cars. Dave and I always like to make fun of those, or nuclear. What happens is you just say, wow, did something just go wrong last night? And then you start working backward to what Treasury Secretary Besson said, or you work backward to maybe something in the Middle East. Or,
I just wait for open. I don't know what to do. Gold looks like it's oversold, so hopefully it bounced, but I don't know.
The speculation bubble was, and it was a bubble yesterday, somehow burst. We don't know yet why. It has nothing to do with treasuries, but David, it's just gotten to the point where it's nauseating. And I think that even a Jamie Dimon would tell you it's just too excessive at this point.
Well, I want you to be more specific when you say something has burst. And you're talking about a speculative. What are you talking about specifically there? I mean, I heard you say flying cars and things like that. You've talked a lot about sort of the peripherals of the market, I guess. That's what you're referring to, Jim?
Well, yeah, I mean, look, we don't want to say it's the Palantirs, because Palantir is actually making real good money. And we don't want to say it's the Robinhood, because Robinhood itself is making a lot of money. But it's the kind of stocks that we would describe as being hope and prayer stocks, that we hope that quantum grows into something. We hope that there are nuclear power plants put everywhere because it's cleaner power. We'd like to think that every single version of Bitcoin would move up. All crypto, Ethereum. We'll talk to Larry Fink about that. But David, these are the things that trade at 4 a.m. and they trade at 3 a.m. and suddenly the futures are down. Now, you could also say, listen, the futures are down because there's some sort of deflationary thing. Look at oil. But you know there was a time when if oil were down to 57, we would be exuberant.
Yeah,
so
we'd be rejoicing. Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, I do think we got a little aggressive in the last few days. Yesterday was one of the most hideous days I've seen because it was led by crypto and it was led by the stocks that I'm talking about. And, you know, it started with a thing called Bloom Energy, which is a company that makes non-combustible hydrogen energy. That got a big contract, and suddenly everyone said, you know what? These aren't speculative. These are mainstream. And we've been living with Bloom.
$5 billion from Brookfield and their infrastructure.
That
fund,
did it.
Obviously, the fuel cells that will help data centers. And Carl, as you know, everything comes back these days, it seems, to the data center. Had that long conversation yesterday with the two CEOs of Oracle, certainly, and so much when you're talking about it also seems to come back to OpenAI, which drives the news cycle almost every day. Yesterday, of course, the Broadcom deal. I know Jim spoke with Hock Tan on his show last night. I want to hear from that. We obviously had a conversation as well, Jim, with Greg Brockman and the president as well of Broadcom yesterday, and then on to the Oracle guys. I mean, that's where it all sort of germinates from. OpenAI, I can't even keep track on a daily basis of the commitments that they have to all of the companies out there in terms of what they're going to be paying them for so many different services.
Yes. Go ahead, Jim.
Carl, yeah, well, I've been doing some noodling on what OpenAI would really be worth in the IPO market, and I have had this morning I've had some of these bank CEOs just tell me, stop it, Jim, stop it. I mean,
yeah, 25 minutes.
Trying to say it could be worth
looks like gold's trying to bounce.
I mean, the revenues would say that it should be worth maybe a couple hundred
no, gold got some room to drop more on the 15 minutes, so I don't know.
Is pervading. I do feel that people are saying, Carl, let's put a break on this. Let's stop saying that a company that might be earning that might have 30 billion in revenues is worth $1 trillion. We've got to stop that. People, I think, are trying to say, wait a second. OpenAI, as David said, is driving everything to be able to make it so that Oracle can order AMD chips. We have to just say, wait. This company cannot be driving this economy. It just doesn't deserve that role yet. And the IPO that you think's coming It's not going to be nearly as big. It'll also be the 28th largest company in the world at this price.
What company's going to, you're going to start life with that kind of a debt load? I mean, I don't even know where it's all coming from, and neither do they, by the way. Amazing.
No, none of us do.
What they've been able to accomplish in terms of getting these deals on paper, at least to some extent, Carl, but there's so much on the come.
With the gold moving pretty
I did
fast.
have an opportunity yesterday to speak with the CEOs of Oracle, which obviously is going to be the beneficiary to the tune of as much as $60 billion a year in revenues from OpenAI, beginning very soon in terms of the compute, essentially, because Oracle doesn't own the data centers. They get, but the compute that they will be providing to that company. And I asked the question, Jim. Here was sort of the answer in terms of, will they be there for it? Will they be good for it? And what happens if they're not?
They're going to have a dramatic impact on industries, on enterprises of all types. That said, we have partnerships with lots of vendors
and
as
with
well.
their competitors as well.
We do, and I think I like all their chances. I think they're all doing very well.
You don't think it's going to be a winner-take-all kind of a situation?
I think the market is too big.
No, I don't.
Look, the market's too big, and I think that there's far too much kind of open space that has to be solved. Do I think that there might be winner-take-all in certain niches? Of course. But the reality is that AI is applicable to everything.
Well, all right, so it gives you a sense that even if it is, we don't have a winner-take-all situation, because who knows? What it was Alphabet, they were the winner-take-all. Judge Mehta allowed for that, right? That decision was very favorable to them not long ago.
Well, David, look, Hawk Tan said the same thing to me last night. Now, Hawk, you know that the CEO of Broadcom is one of the toughest business people in the world. He had when I asked him about, should be worried about, basically about being paid, he said, it was kind of like, look at me like, Jim, don't you understand? It's happening. Get on board, it's happening. And I think the difficulty is that when you look at what OpenAI / Oracle's trying to do, they want to go after every vertical. They want to go after Zuckerberg. They want to go after Musk. They want to go after Google. I mean, they want to be everywhere. And no one is questioning their ability to pay, in part because Sarah Fryer is their CFO, in part because we know that they're growing so quickly. Carl, growth is fantastic when it comes to revenues, but I think that we're all kind of hoping for let's call them earnings. Let's call them earnings, because I think earnings is what is going to end up driving things, not revenue growth.
Right. Of course, today the news is about Oracle and AMD. NVIDIA down too. I think pre-market, Jim, there is more discussion about to what degree NVIDIA is, I don't want to say on the back foot, but certainly playing an incremental defense.
Well, look, when we spoke with Jensen Huang last week, he talked about, and by the way, I mentioned the earnings because I wanted to talk about NVIDIA because their earning power is much greater than Jared Bernstein thinks. But I do think that NVIDIA has more business than it can handle. It offers a full stack that includes a lot of software. I think AMD's, their next model that comes out in the middle of next year has got the same capabilities of the hardware side. But NVIDIA offers a lot more than just the hardware side. And by next year at this time, NVIDIA's going to have a new chip that's going to be much faster. But look, everybody needs every single chip because this is one of those situations where you can't afford to not have chips. And right now, it's too hard to get NVIDIA chips. You can't get them all. But Lisa Su, congratulations to her, David, an unbelievable coup. She did say that this could happen, but no one thought it could happen within the next year.
It's happening, and the stock obviously got a real bump on the news they had, as we've reported, of course, around what else OpenAI from last week as well, and that opportunity that then OpenAI has to buy stock over time in AMD. It's hard to keep track of. You can forgive people if they can't, Carl. You've got to keep a daily stat sheet in terms of where all this is.
Right. And
what's going where.
Yeah, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
To circle back to the banks, Jim, some of what we're talking about has been reflected today in the qualitative commentary, particularly out of JP Morgan. Early signs of excess. Not sure we'd want to buy back stock at these prices.
I know. I mean, it's just, I think that they're being kind of a bummer, but I think that Jamie Dimon, and the Tricolor, actually, this is a fraud. He talked about something that happened that knocked some stocks down. But I think Jamie Dimon is saying when it's this good, you have to be careful. And there was a big run-up in the stock yesterday off of that $1.5 trillion infrastructure. By the way, that thing really got things going, too. We should talk about that in a second, David. But the $1.5 trillion initiative that talked about quantum, that talked about critical metals, that just took up every single speculative stock. Certainly that was his meaning. The bank that is producing the best earnings this morning is Wells Fargo. And the reason why that is because Charlie Sharp laid out a vision which just says, our stock is cheaper than we thought. He actually bumped his what I thought he was going to buy back aggressively. He talked about having $30 billion more cash than he needs now that the cap is gone and reinventing the bank. No longer just doing nothing but mortgages, but now doing a lot of exciting things, including M&A, a lot of corporate stuff that they weren't doing before because they weren't run by Charlie Sharp. So, David, the contrast here, Charlie had all that capital locked up because of the cap put on by the government. Now that's freed. Jamie Dimon, the stock has been such a horse. I don't blame him for one bit for saying, whoa, let's just be a little careful. And froth, they even mentioned the term froth on the City call just now. So, I mean, everyone talking froth except for Charlie Sharp.
Yeah, I mean, we point out and that Jamie is typically perhaps more cautious than a number of his peers, to the extent he has any peers at this point. Not clear that he really does.
Oh, what a cheap shot at everybody else.
Well, no, look at the market cap. Look at the market cap.
It was a joke.
It
was a joke. Get with the program.
I'm sorry, I got to get with the program.
Right.
That said, he does tend towards being more cautious, but Carl, not without reason. You know, we've had a credit bull market for 20 years, says Jamie Dimon. The early signs of some excess, talking about that, you know, the First Brands bankruptcy, of course, which is reverberated a bit through the capital markets of late, impacting certain areas, both in private credit. Talked about Jeffries a bit. Jim, there are no shortage of things to at least be focused on as concerning, perhaps. But here, you know, we keep going higher, generally speaking. And to your point, it is, and Carl's, it is reflected in the capital markets numbers of whether it's JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs. Things are moving ahead. We talk about the debt financings alone that are being put in place, for example, for data centers and everything related to it. It's enormous. It's an enormous pull on private credit. It's an enormous pull on the banks. It creates a lot of business.
Right, and I think that one of the themes in the Goldman one that we got to talk about, and Goldman stock is looking down. Look, I don't know. Today's a down day. What am I going to say to you? The Goldman quarter was good. Everybody knows it was good, except for trading. Big deal. That fluctuates. But Goldman's making a point that M&A is just going to be incredible for the rest of the year. And David, I think it's important that they usually have a pretty good vision. You can tell me, what vision do they have into that? What's the visibility that a David Solomon can say, listen, the M&A is just going to be spectacular between here and year end?
What's the visibility they have? Well, I mean, you get a sense from your corporate clients is their willingness to do things. They always call you for conflicts, clear your conflicts. I mean, you know, you hope you're working on things. You don't know necessarily, Carl, if they're going to get to the finish line. There does seem to be a lot more optimism right now that this quarter is going to be a big one. We're going to see a number of big things announced. We did have the largest go private of all time announced only last week. We seem to have sort of moved on past that. Electronic Arts getting bought by the Saudis.
Although
this market sucks.
I mean, SEC registration will be interrupted unless this thing gets resolved quickly. I think that might have been part of what
now we had the
Bessent
Fed
was trying
speaking
to get to
too,
today
so
as we are now in day 14.
Well, Bessent did remind us, wait a second, there is a shutdown. And I have to tell you,
I don't know.
when I look at companies,
Someone posted earlier about it. Really check.
I wonder how they're going to get a lot done that does need the government checking off. Now, the SEC seems to be a little bit,
I don't know, man.
A little bit willing to.
They're gonna rug this market again.
But that's also at a certain point you have to stop it. You know, David. We don't talk about the shutdown and what it does to the economy because it's never been.
I think Pre-Long got into calls yesterday. Yeah, he got QQQ calls.
There's going to be no resolution with the president not around. I just think it's kind of, you can't just table the darn thing, David.
It's long dated, so you got time, but I don't know.
There is, and we said many times when it originally
too
happened,
risky.
Carl, that we'd have to wait a few weeks to get a sense for, you know, and it builds. And maybe we're in the building part of it now.
Next year,
Real risks.
I mean,
a lot of time on that.
Our TSA and military paychecks due in the next couple of days, but this is a reference week for BLS. So employment, we'll see if the people who are being furloughed now will be counted as unemployed. We are going to get CPI because they're bringing some of those people back, but we don't know. I think we do know the date. It'll be in time for the next Fed meeting. But just a larger picture, Jim, it is a headwind.
I mean, when you're talking to companies that are trying to Okta, I've got on tonight, they're trying to do business with the Department of War, Defense, whatever.
He's on. He's going to come on later. He usually come on like 15 minutes after market opens.
I think bureaucrats, they get see you later for a while. It's crazy.
All of these topics we're going to cover in a few minutes with Larry Fink of BlackRock and an exclusive right here on set. We'll talk some earnings, the state of the economy, the markets, asset prices, digital
I'm scared to trade
asset
today, so
regulation, and a
I'm
lot
going
more.
to
That's
just stay
coming up.
light.
Get to some consumer names this morning as well with Albertsons, Domino's, a lot of news in autos with Ford and GM, Meta too. We're back in a minute.
Yeah.
CBIZ. Your company started in the kitchen.
Hello?
Now it has 3. Your team of 5 grew to an army of 500. And that's your logo, right there in marble.
That's big.
To grow your business from big to bigger, you need an advisor built for the middle market.
Our data shows that this deal works.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Accounting, advisory, insurance, and more. CBIZ. Insights that impact.
Level up your credit card game with the new Crypto.com Visa Signature Credit Card. Spend in
13 minutes, guys.
Earn in crypto. Earn up to 6%
Yeah, that gold pump from the oversold bounce.
Attractive colors in sleek metal finish. And the best part? Uncapped crypto rewards. This is our boldest offer yet. Apply for the Crypto.com
I stream every day.
Signature Credit Card today.
Pioneers in radiation, like Marie Curie, pushed past skepticism to uncover a power that went unseen.
You all need to label things better. Someone almost drank this.
The explosion of AI is driving today's healthcare leaders to reimagine patient care. Prisma Airs, the world's most comprehensive AI security platform, allows your own brave ideas to radiate hope. Be a genius. Deploy bravely.
Introducing CNBC Plus.
You can stream Squawk Box.
Stream Squawk on the Street.
If you can't catch Fast Money in real time, watch us later on CNBC Plus.
And it's something that you can get for your phone, you can get for your TV. Just check it out.
With enhanced data.
What you're currently seeing is our CNBC Plus
I
data.
think he was looking weak, but I don't want to short.
And the latest headlines.
Bell to bell global live stream.
Very informational screen. I like that.
You're always connected.
Look at that. It's pretty good.
Start streaming at cnbc.com/plus.
I got something coming up.
This fall, get ready to think fast and eat faster at Raising Cane's. With hand-battered and cooked-to-order chicken fingers. So grab a box combo and catch.
My name's Chad Powers.
Get this exceptional offer on select Cadillac models. Visit your local Cadillac dealer today.
Take a look at some NASDAQ 100 laggards. This brutal sell-off in crypto that really began on Friday, taking with it some shares of strategy this morning. We'll talk about the weakness behind some elements of chips as well, with Microchip and KLA-10 Core also on the list. We'll get Kramer's Mad Dash and count down to the opening bell in a moment.
Sarah Benzino, Brandon Coley, Jablonski Auto Body, LLC.
What'd she call Harper?
Oh, you mean Jablonski Auto Body LLC.
We actually sold the twins naming rights.
You know, like stadiums do. Kids are so expensive these days. Here he comes.
Oasis Breeze Tan and Spa.
If you need a tan, I'm your man. Could do business with you.
Or we can look at some investment options for you.
Works for us.
The right money moves aren't as absurd as you think.
Repair Clinic came to AmericanEagle.com with a pressing need for digital expertise to serve our expanding parts and software business. AmericanEagle.com optimized our website, turning our proprietary data, content, and diagnostics into a powerful platform that reaches more DIYers, pros, and enterprise clients than ever before. If you're looking for an agency who can solve your complex digital challenges, contact AmericanEagle.com today.
Do you have a life insurance policy you no longer need? Now you can sell your policy, even a term policy, for an immediate cash payment.
We thought we had planned carefully for our retirement.
But we quickly realized we needed a way to supplement our income.
If you have $100,000 or more of life insurance, you may qualify to sell your policy. Don't cancel or let your policy lapse without finding out what it's worth. Visit CoventryDirect.com to find out if your policy qualifies, or call 1-800-523-6900. Coventry Direct, redefining insurance.
Hey, Perry.
Can't talk. Must guard. Why don't you get Simply Safe, like us? Must guard house.
Simply Safe has proactive monitoring. The AI outdoor camera alerts live Simply Safe agents of a crime before it starts, not after.
Stop. This is Simply Safe. Police are on their way.
Who can compete with that? Pretty cool, huh? Simply Safe. Real security stops crime before it starts.
There's no safe like Simply Safe.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Every day, I'm checking the markets throughout the trading session, working the phones, talking to sources to share insights, information, and all of the details that you need to make money.
Closing bell overtime for Eastern and streaming on CNBC+.
All right, let's get to it. A cross-country mad dash as we get ready to ring the opening bell here. What do we got? About 7 minutes or so. Jim, you want to talk a little dominoes?
Yeah, look, I think that Russell Winter's doing a fantastic job. The CEO doesn't get a lot of credit for what he's doing. Maybe that can change with a much better than expected quarter. $4.08 versus $3.95. What I really like about this, David, is that Russell's figured out, I'm going to talk about it tonight when he's on the show, that you need to have an offering that's less than $10 in this country if you're going to be able to do well for dinner. And he's got this best ever deal at $10. I've had it. It's really fantastic. And Domino's to me is amazing because I've got one near me, so it comes in about 30 seconds. But the idea that America can't afford more than $10 pizza is what is really in sync with what I'm hearing about you can't afford more than a $10 hamburger, not more than a $10 dinner like they do at Brinker. So, David, this is the have-not thing. And you and I both know it's true. There's a part of the country that cannot afford a $12 pizza and cannot afford a $12 steak. And we tend to forget that when we're doing all this stuff about what's going on with crypto or open AI, we forget that there's another whole part of the country where the inequalities are just not going away.
Oh, it's Tradeday? Oh, yeah, Tradeday. I thought it was down. Never mind.
Meet a $400 unexpected bill, Jim.
I know. Look, I think that we don't talk. We've been mesmerized by all the different crazy things that are happening in the market. In the meantime, there's a whole nother market, which is just the TJX World Stores market, and that's doing well. And it's doing well because people don't either. You could say that some people think they're thrifty and like value. I think they just don't have a lot of money versus inflation. We forgot there is inflation.
I'm just bag holding crypto. Not bag holding, but been holding it for a while. I'm not selling those. I took some profit 3 years ago, so I'm just holding the rest just for later.
Keep it here.
Weeknights.
I guess that's the big one, Bitcoin, Ethereum.
Up as much as Nvidia has, but stocks are risk assets, so if you're not concerned about risk, well, then you're in the wrong business.
I'm not buying into a dip big time. I had it when it's $4, so no way I can beat that again. Yeah, Ethereum.
Mad Money, weeknight 6 Eastern and streaming on CNBC+.
Yeah, I saw when it hit 4,000. I saw like 300-400 of them. I only got like what 50 something left, so I'm just holding those until it goes up more. Yeah. I paid off a house and a student loan.
Exceptional offer on select Cadillac models.
Yeah.
Visit your local Cadillac dealer today.
With hundreds of sales every week and low prices store-wide, you can eat well for less at Whole Foods Market.
Rather than get rich quick, I believe in get rich slow. The high yield cash account at Public actually had higher rates than anything else I was able to find online. I don't want to be losing sleep over having made risky investments.
3 minutes
I needed
left.
something stable that could really give me long-term financial benefits. I know my money's working hard for me, and I know I can access it anytime I need it.
Hi, I'm Jay Jackson. For almost 20
Okay,
years,
and
Abacus Life has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors. And in just seconds,
So you got is just 75K, damn it, nothing else.
Policy might be worth.
For many of my clients, selling their life insurance to Abacus was
Oh, you bought 2 more, gotcha.
Don't sell or lapse your policy without going
No, careful today, man. You don't want to blow it today.
No fees and no obligations. Get the real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus.
Yeah, I'm scared.
With the foresight and vision to anticipate the needs of future generations. To build strong portfolios that deliver lasting legacies. To innovate and adapt for what's just around the corner. Because after 125 years of yesterdays, Nuveen knows your ultimate
Shoot,
stakeholder.
Freelon got the calls for next year. Those should be
Invest
red.
like the future is watching.
The opening bell is brought to you by Nuveen. Invest like the future is watching.
We are in a wave, in a phenomenon, as I call it, I've never seen before. That it's not cyclical. It is, as you put it, Jim, secular.
Right, you're talking about railroads. You're talking about internet. You're talking about this. You're talking about the fourth industrial revolution.
He was here.
I'm talking about critical utility for society. We're talking about generative AI. Now, I don't try to sound a bit high.
You see
but
Box
think
with a
about it
massive
logically.
9,000 profit for 2 150K. Like, oh, wow. Oh, it was last night, both of them? 2 of them? That's like 9,000 each. Yeah, look at the P&L now. It's the second one. It had 9. That's like, holy shit. That's massive. I mean, even you blow those 50 pros, but that's a big payout. Yeah, it don't matter. Just don't get TPT jail.
That 30% say will grow to 40% of all GDP. That's 10 trillion a year.
That's Broadcom's Hawk Tan talking to Jim last night about the impact of AI.
Pretty heavy though.
Really on the
you know
macro
what I mean?
economy, Jim. Your takeaways from that chat?
But you can lose a lot, like a lot.
Hawk Tan saying anything that is pie in the sky. He's just talking about a major step change in how the world thinks. Is something that Jensen Wong's been saying too. But here's an
I
example.
want to tell you, I got one guy that's freaking banking 100-something thousand payout, but still negative 100,000 for the year. Yeah, I mean, you're spending way too much.
A direct attack on Amazon, and there isn't a vertical.
No, not that guy. No, not that guy. It's another one. The market about that.
This announcement with OpenAI and ChatGPT.
When you speak to the people at the center, just like Hawk Tan,
Market want to drop. What's bot doing?
that seems to be the overall
Bot short, way over there. Bot really red on the short.
With that, let's get this opening bell and the CNBC.
Oh, bot about to be green on that short.
This morning, it's online marketplace Etsy celebrating its transfer to the NYSE from the NAS. We're going to talk to Josh Silverman in about an hour. At the NASDAQ, it's Khalid
Wait till the end of November. I mean, end of October, mid-November to buy. If you're not getting puts, you're gonna get calls. Yes. Even the TV was talking about it. Pullback.
The spokesperson for the pharma industry in terms of the way things should be done. When I was talking with them, he spun off the orthopedic this morning. Why? Because there's not a lot of science to new knees. There just isn't.
I don't know what to do with this market.
It's keeping their price earnings multiple back. It's another brilliant move. The spin-off of Kenvue, obviously, looking really great. Hindsight 2020. Who knew that RFK Jr. was going to go after Tylenol? But that was a remarkable quarter. They are the fast-growing pharma company. I think that J&J.
Do you remember I shorted last night? If I kept that short, I'd be up so much on the MNQ.
Look at that chart. This started by
And
the
they
way
flushed that
when they
shit.
decided to fight the plaintiff's bar on all the talc casings.
You tagged me last night. I thought you were gonna get caught or something. When I woke up, I thought, holy shit, that's a big
They
dog.
just lost one, but what's happened is that they're no longer
That's
negotiating
good.
over some some gigantic settlement that could really help them. And instead
That's
they
actually
become
nice.
pure pharma, no longer orthopedic, and again, no longer the generic. David, this man has quietly put his stock in a position to challenge Eli Lilly for growth. Incredible.
It is. And I mean, to your credit, because I do like to do that when you deserve it, you did kind of get more positive on the stock here, particularly as you just said on the court case side and that whole talc thing.
Man, I don't know what to do. Bought short. I should just short all the pumps. But
done what? Virtually nothing for years, right, Jim?
5 years. 5 years.
today looks like a bear day. We're already negative 1.2% already.
All they ever talked about was like, be careful of that dividend. Be careful of that dividend. Where this thing should be, the growth of this and the wealth of this.
Gold dumped hard overnight. Oh my gosh.
I got caught up in that talk, but they because they weren't fighting, they were negotiating J&J. Well, Joaquin doesn't seem
I took profit yesterday. Remember, I took $100. Yeah.
And it's worked. It almost never works, David. It's working for him. And the spin of orthopedic.
It won't be up much now because it was lower when I sold the puts yesterday. Yeah, and it just pumped a lot last night. That's why.
But you're going to be surprised that they're kind of similar to the way that they were like 20 years.
Looks like it's NQ want to drop some more.
I hope they make some more advances there. All right,
I don't know
Jim,
what to do.
of companies or at least CEOs that you spare no words of praise for, Charlie Scharf and
This morning? What they say? You got a job?
Notable winner amongst the sector this morning after we got earnings from Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo.
24th. Oh, that must be for the holiday. Are you gonna work?
Different part of the world. We'll get to BlackRock, but Goldman and JP Morgan both down their stocks. Goldman the most, and obviously they
You can't
also
just
did
work
that
and
deal.
quit.
Not sure we really mentioned it, where they acquired Industry Ventures for about $7 billion. It's a VC firm. Interesting move on their part. But Wells Fargo stocks up over 4% on.
Oh, you're a contract worker.
What Charlie had said pre-Charlie Scharf.
Ah, hell no, don't do it. You're working like the crappy season all the time. Oh, how annoying those Christmas shopping is? Hell no.
Was constrained. The bank was constrained.
Yeah, don't do it. Do not do it. Hey, buddy.
Federal Reserve right before Janet Yellen left. And
Money.
it really kept it so that they had more and more capital building. They weren't able to distribute like how they would like to.
No, I'm scared of trade.
And what Charlie has done is create a much greater.
I almost blew my stuff this morning longing. A good thing it popped 100 points back. I'm barely green. Nothing's yet. Bot short, bot's green now.
Excess capital, David. This is such a different Wells from the John Stump days. $30 billion in excess capital.
Man, that gold short last night was good.
So Charlie's got great flexibility. The new model's good. A lot of investment banking, a lot of credit cards.
You're right, Cambit. They rugged that shit, man.
Charlie's credit, he's made this.
Yeah, you caught that. Yeah, that 800 points yesterday was stupid.
A bank that I think we're going to start thinking of as one of the majors in terms of when it comes to corporate
about to hit lower day.
You know, David, they were never a corporate finance power. Some of that is the people he brought over because they didn't get. Look, Jamie didn't retire. There are a lot of people who thought they might get that job.
That is true. Yeah, that's true. No, of course, Doug Bronstein, who I've had on the show.
You see what Gambit did? He closed out his two TPT and took 50% profit. Yeah.
banking franchise for
good money.
Wells Fargo, Jim. And
I'm gonna do that later too.
by the way, notable, as you just said, what did they?
So you have to get above the buffer, right, to cash out, right?
So that resulted in almost 75 million shares being retired.
I was thinking it was going to be more like 4. Because
Did you ask them had to be above the buffer, or just get the?
The stock deserves to be up.
Or just cash out.
And JP Morgan does not deserve to be down 8, but it had spiked on the $1.2 trillion initiative that was announced yesterday that I didn't get to talk to you about because I thought you would have everything for every speculative area of the economy. Definitely critical.
Hey, that bought up 50 points.
Another stock that's up, BlackRock, up about 1.3%.
I guess you just have to beat everybody to do that,
Wow.
don't you?
Yeah, well, they did shatter their own records. Assets under management up 17%. Just a hair under $13.5 trillion are now managed by this behemoth. That was for the third quarter, of course. $200 billion in new client money, or more than that, actually coming in. Joining us now exclusively here at Post 9 is the company's chairman and CEO, Larry Fink. Larry, good to have you here. Thank you for being here.
Good to see you. Carl, David.
And Jim will probably ask some questions as well, no doubt about that. I guess, it seems as though things are working on all fronts for you. Is this as good as it can get, Larry?
Well, it is gratifying. I mean, what really identified us in the third quarter, the breadth of where we grew.
Order filled.
It wasn't
Shit,
just one
I went long.
business area.
I didn't mean to go long.
Order
I
filled.
forgot to close my open order. Fuck.
That grew 30 billion over the course
Oh
of the year,
my
10 billion in
God.
the quarter.
Did not mean to go long. Holy cow.
Platform, our private markets platform, our investment technology.
TT. Oh no, you at what? 7 points, right?
And then, just across the board, ETFs, record quarter.
Order filled.
So it was not just
Order
one product
submitted.
area, it was not just one region, it was a completeness. And I think it
Orders
comes down
canceled.
to the whole
Holy
portfolio,
crap, that's a massive
the
dump.
entirety of a conversation. When we bought BGI in 2009, no one thought you could marry passive and active. Well, not only we did that, we've transformed how a portfolio is being engaged. And now with passive, active, publics, privates, and then we overlay investment technology, and now digital, we're the firm that more and more
I'm long at
people are going to
505. It's
worldwide.
gonna get
What do you mean
wrecked.
by digital?
I do believe we're just at the beginning of the tokenization of all assets, from real
So
estate
what's the next level down?
to equities, to bonds.
Next level down will be. That's it. This is the last level.
Capital's at work.
Oh man.
I love capital at work. But there's $4.1 trillion of money in globally in digital wallets. A lot of that money is outside the United States. If we could tokenize...
Dude, the bot was pretty red earlier too, but no, it held us short though.
We could have investors who are just beginning to,
Order
invest in
submitted.
markets through, let's say, crypto. They're investing in it, but now we could get them into the more traditional long-term
Dang, man,
retirement
sorry, you
product.
almost had a pay
So
on
we
that
look
one
at
too.
as the
That
next
sucks.
wave of opportunity for BlackRock over
Yeah.
the next
Order.
tens of
Order
years.
filled.
Order
Order filled.
Nice bump.
Focusing
Got
on
out.
moving away from traditional financial assets by repotting them in a digital manner, and then having people stay in that digital ecosystem. They can have
Oh,
their
what a
cash,
pump.
and we have the largest cash money market fund that's tokenized called BITL.
Order submitted.
Our Bitcoin IBIT is now over $100 billion.
$100 billion, I
Yeah,
know,
so
from nothing not that long ago.
And 2 years ago, zero.
Yeah,
So
I know. Well,
all
you
of this
weren't
is
always a
happening.
huge proponent of crypto, as we know.
Yeah, but
love it now.
But I grow
Daddy.
and learn.
I heard you say that on 60 Minutes.
I did say that.
Jim?
Yeah, Larry, I wrote how to make
Yeah,
money in
I
any
came back
market.
down.
A lot because of our talks.
I
Yes,
don't
a
know
lot
what to
because
do
of
with
what
this
you did.
market.
And I dedicate a lot of it to you because I say that people don't know how to invest.
Down almost
People feel that
2%.
their parents are going to be richer than they ever were.
Order
Do
submitted.
you feel that your offerings, if people were to embrace them and work
A
in a
lot of people
company
got caught in that
had
drop.
this, we can kind of change this world where younger people spend more money on polymarket betting about whether some, on some political event. When if they go with what you have, they might be able to, through savings, be better, be wealthier than their parents.
So a great statistic, if you put money to work on January 1st, 2000, And a year later, you had the you had the dot-com crisis. 6-7 years later, you had the financial crisis.
To get my
you had the
points.
COVID crisis. You still would have made 8% compounded over that entire 25 years versus earning 1%. It is so compelling to be in the market.
Going up, but man, AQ is scary right now.
It's not about if our market's going up or down. Is there a bubble in crypto?
Yeah, bot caught 100 points on a short.
In technology. It's about being in the market throughout the cycle. Even if you put money in the United States in the year 1900, and then you had the Great Recession, you had...
I have a long at like 78 if it hits.
You would have earned over 9% over 125 years. So
don't follow me, though.
I'm not here to tell anybody if the markets are going to go up or down, but over a long horizon, and every individual who's thinking about it should be focusing on these opportunities. And I'm absolutely thrilled to see more and more young people investing in equities, not just Polycom. They're investing in equities.
Order submitted.
And if they can now translate that from just a trading and flipping account into a long-term investment strategy, and be an owner of those over long horizons over your lifetime, you're going to do really well. And another interesting point, I think I've said this before.
Order submitted.
But over a 30-year cycle, if you earned an extra 0.5%, over 30 years, a 0.5%.
Order filled. Order filled.
Money is up 15% more. Just
order
0.5%.
filled.
So the virtue of compounding over 30 years
order
is nothing
filled.
more important. And Jim, you write
order
about this
submitted.
all the time. This is what it takes. It's about being in the market, being focused on this over a long horizon. And the
order
young people
submitted.
They're not going to have much to worry about. America still is the best place in the world to invest, and I would be continuing to invest here today.
Totally agree. Obviously, it's long term. We don't want trading. Trading is the bane of our existence. The people who traded do not have anywhere near the return that you just mentioned, and they're fooling themselves. And that's why I think if they just give it to you guys, they can't flip. Owning income is
hard.
the greatest things in the world. Now, I wanted to ask how my friend Scott Kapnick's doing. HBS, you made a fantastic acquisition. He stayed on, and he was a killer on a Newman Goldman. He's doing great stuff with you guys now.
That's another example of how we integrate organizations, like really find people like Scott and his team.
Code's pumping. Thank you. Need a pump.
In both cases,
order
they took
filled.
the majority of the consideration BlackRock shares.
Order
They're
filled.
large BlackRock shareholders now. They want the entirety of the firm to be part of it. That is part of our integration process.
I'm deep red now. I'm so close to payout, and I'm so red.
And I would say our quarter also shows so importantly that clients want to talk to firms that can bring the
What happened?
completeness
You hit DLL?
Order submitted. From equities to private credit to infrastructure.
I don't like this flush. Wow.
Crypto.
Yeah, are you worried at all, though? I mean, I think privates and all 660 billion in AUM for you guys.
Yes.
It's not an insignificant business anymore. You built it pretty quickly.
We're in the top 5 in that business
now.
But
there are starting to creep in at least some concerns. The First Brands bankruptcy. Sure. It's maybe a
order
one-off for
submitted.
Tricolor, which Jamie
order
Dimon's
canceled.
talking about. But in general,
order
Larry,
submitted.
the idea that so much money has come into this and that the underwriting standards perhaps are not what people hope for. Any concern there?
I'm always paranoid and concerned, but actually credit trends recently are actually improving. So let's think about the private credit market, because that's what you're referring to, David. Outside the banking system, private credit is about $2 trillion, of which about $200 billion of that $2 trillion is asset-based finance. And then you have receivable-based. Both Tricolor and First Brands is really receivable financing. So that's a very small component. Most private credit is no different than the type of lending that you do at a bank, or they may be companies that want to remain private longer, but the underwriting would be no different than a public underwriting. And so we're not seeing any really remarkable changes in credit trends across the board. But you're always going to have an idiosyncratic risk all the time. And by the way, that is capitalism. The capitalism is not meaning 100% successes.
Target
there are going to be failures. And when there's failures with bad leadership who, are with questionable accounting practices, whether there's fraud or not fraud, that ultimately shows up. But that's the power of the markets. You can't hide that long.
Right.
And I actually believe this is a gratifying
Can
thing.
we
You
pump
can't
now?
hide long.
Please?
Now, obviously, there's losses in these two examples.
I've been long, stuck in the line.
That are seeking access to private markets, and right now we're not seeing the
Order filled.
I need 476 and 482. Please. There we go, baby.
Order canceled.
Almost pay out yet? Nope. Need some more money.
You are introducing instruments that have
Man, trying to catch a knife right now is so
Order
scary.
submitted.
Everything you invest in has some types of risk. If you start incorporating more private market products in a portfolio, they will present.
Mara lost his TPT challenge already.
One has to measure. So that means you should not be investing in 20 or 40 or 50% of a portfolio.
Order canceled.
Ooh, nice pump. I'm out. I'm
If you
flat.
add an extra 50
Oh,
basis points to
man.
the portfolio over 30 years.
What do you need daily liquidity
So if you
for,
could
right?
invest 5%
Close to
in these
passing this
products,
shit.
could that be additive
This is
over
fun,
a long
actually.
portfolio
Order
composition?
submitted.
And so that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
But one other thing,
Adrenaline.
we did another acquisition in Preqin, which is the largest private market data company. We believe
Order submitted.
Yellow, keep long in every fucking dip.
insertion of
Order
private markets
submitted.
in 401ks, it's going to be hard for them to really move the fiduciary standard rule. And the fiduciary standard rule is a very strict rule. You have to be considered a fiduciary in everything you do. So that under that law, you're not going to put an excessive amount of amounts of money in private.
We really gonna get calls already? I think it's gonna dip some more this week or this month.
Therefore, we believe one of the great growth engines of BlackRock will be the Aladdin system.
Just wait, don't waste your money. Don't waste your money, dude. Keep milking prop for now. Wait till the bear season, bear area is over.
Order filled.
Data and analytics, and we are going to be the engine that powers that data and analytics.
Yeah.
It's a great report out of Goldman
You
today
miss out, you
looking
miss out. Who
at,
cares?
the split between employment and GDP, and they argue that could be.
Oh, you follow that one? Oh man, but you got time though.
Order filled. You might have robust GDP growth.
It was expensive. I didn't want to follow. I was like, I gotta dip first. It needs to dip.
Well, I think if you look at BlackRock's growth, we're growing. We're adding.
Order
What's up, Mugo? How you doing, buddy?
1,000 employees a year right now. But that being said, we're
Order
growing
submitted.
faster than the
Google,
growth
did you
rate.
get your 75K? The challenge already started today.
I think that's a generalized
If
trend.
not, it's too late now.
Technology is making us more productive, and we're able to do more things using technology. So I don't think technology substitutes humans, but they augment humans.
Yeah.
But that means we probably need fewer
Dang, that bot
future
ate good.
hires to the scale of business that we may be operating. And I think that's going to be with everybody. We have just better information
Yeah,
at
it
our
is.
fingertips. We're going to be able to do much more.
You got your pro
coding.
yet? Don't touch your pro today if you're scared, because it's pretty wild. We got Fed speaking today.
More to come. Larry, I did, because we're going to run out of time. I did want to just get your take on the broader AI picture. I mean, the amount of money that is being committed
Talking to
by
Google.
OpenAI, for example, is what we've been talking about, to companies. And just the enormity of this capital. I don't know if you've ever seen anything like it in your career. And I'm curious as to
you
how
doing
you
bad
view
now?
it and whether you think that those who use the word bubble are correct in
Oh, okay. That's. So you hit the I was like, no. Good. And one payout makes up everything.
Inferring a bubble means a bad thing, but there is
Good
certainly
job.
a skyrocketing amount of capital that's
Oh,
being
yeah,
put
I
to work.
forgot to touch my Lucid.
If you put it in a framework of geopolitical positioning, we as a country need these investments if we're going to be the leader in AI technology. So as an American, I'm pretty happy that we're investing this much money. I want us to be first. So let's start there.
Order submitted.
Does that mean, is there going to be some failures within the confines of these investments? Absolutely. But I
Nice.
do believe
So how much do you get out of that that payout?
If you think
So
about it,
that's good, and then you got a good buffer too.
investing in
Yeah.
GPUs and chips.
Good job. Proud of you.
It means investing in
Good shit.
HVAC and investing in power grids and power
But it
supply.
sucks that you blew your TTT. That's a lot of work. You know what I mean? 10 days or more.
Build this out. So we are talking $1.5 trillion. We estimate just on data centers and power and all that. But if you see the rapid need in advance, I can say at BlackRock, the amount of information that we are trying to generate ourselves and the speed in which we want to generate, we're spending more and more
I think
on it. and we're
NQ want to
getting
drop
good
some more,
results on
but
it.
I don't want to
believe
short.
every
It's
major
negative
company is
2%.
gonna have to be spending more and more on this. I think some of the investments that we've seen so far
Gold looks
is
like
not
it's
on
gonna
AI,
pump.
it's more on cloud and the power of the cloud. So I
so
do
hard.
believe this is. I don't believe this is a bubble, but I believe this is capital that in most cases is going to be well spent. That being said,
So hard to
there
trade
may be
today,
one or
Google.
two
Google, when do you
failures,
get your TPT Pro?
and that is capitalism. We're going to have some big winners, and we're going to have some big losers, and obviously we have to.
Yeah.
But if you have a diversified portfolio, you're going to be fine in all that.
Yeah.
But, and if you're a stock picker,
No,
you're
yeah.
going to be picking the right
COVID.
one. I'm pretty constructive
Sucks catching
on our big
COVID.
hyperscalers, though, and I do believe the Metas, the Alphabets, the Microsofts are
Has
in
it been
a really good
approved?
position to be winners. And you're seeing the transformation out of Oracle and what they're doing, and how Larry is trying to transform it. Broadcom, what Hoxton is trying to do.
Okay, don't touch it yet. I think you, because you request too late, and they probably didn't look at it till later tonight.
To spend this money to win on a
Yeah,
geopolitical
yeah,
battle.
don't touch it. Do not touch it.
Last question to you.
Yeah.
Yes, Larry, when you've been on, the last couple of times, you've talked about public-private partnership, the need to be able to
Imagine taking all 5 out and take a, close the account.
which continues to grow.
That's huge money.
Is this administration helping that?
Well, this administration is very open to all businesses to talk to them to try to find ways that we could build our economy. So, there are many conversations going on with this administration. That being said, I mean, you're rightly in noting that the greatest risk we have is for the U.S. economy is our deficits. And if we do not grow our economy by 3% a year over the next 10 years, our deficits are going to overwhelm this economy. And we all know it. If we can grow our economy
I'm up $64 on my 75K tournament.
Capital, and we could grow our economy by 3%, I'm not worried about the deficits. That's a big lot. That's a big leap for our economy, our scale, to grow at 3% a year for over 10 years. That's a big issue. And so, we need to be focusing on how do we unlock this capital. We need to focus on how to build this out. This is why I love this AI build out, why I believe we need to be building out our grids, building all this out. This is the type of stuff that could power a 3% economy. If you look at the second quarter results, 3.8% GDP.
Yeah, it's 4,500, right?
50% of that
I
was
think
CapEx
so.
on
I'm
technology.
pretty sure.
You know what?
So how much we can get per day? That's only $22.50 per day.
Has this type of capex. That gives me confidence that we're going to win. And when I go around the world and talking about other economies, and I don't see that capex happening in their country, I worry about that future.
Well, we have the capital markets to support it, and I guess they don't. Larry, we'll always continue the conversation.
I need another drop so I can long.
Appreciate your being here today. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Larry Fink, Chairman and CEO.
What up, ISIS?
As we go to break, about 1 to 2% declines this morning across the board. VIX back to 22. Brett, there's about 3
This market's crazy, ISIS. I'm scared.
That 10-year back to 403, almost kissing 4 today would take you back.
It's been jumping up and down, 100 points up and down. Yeah. Yeah.
The Bond Report
Aren't
is
you
brought to
mod,
you by
ISIS?
PIMCO, a global leader in active fixed income.
Welcome to the Now.
Oh, I thought you were model. What's her name? Kellyanne.
And now everyone's so productive, they're operating at a higher gear. That's the Now way to network at work with real AI, putting you in the fast lane.
What makes a Medicare
Hey,
supplement
make sure you
insurance
get
plan
paid.
like an AARP
Mods get
Medicare
paid.
supplement insurance plan from United
Well, not
Healthcare
here, but over
a
there.
choice for people on Medicare? It's smart for you to have now.
We don't make shit here to pay
And
anybody.
later on, for the future you,
I'm 70-ish.
it's really smart.
Hey, looking
Junior
good. You
Mod.
made a great choice for us.
That's Doc. He made all that up.
With this type of plan, see any
That's a good
doctor or
pump. I
visit
missed
any
out.
hospital that accepts Medicare patients. There are no
ISIS?
networks. Your healthcare future will have more freedom.
Yeah, we can
I
do that.
picked our
Let me
doctor.
change it.
And when I needed a specialist, no referrals needed, right? Bingo.
In fact, see any doctor anywhere in the U.S. Really smart to have when you travel.
When I visit this little cutie in Arizona,
He doesn't do any. He doesn't do admin abuse. He's not like you.
I can't wait.
Don't worry about surprise medical bills
He's
either.
a good guy.
You'll
He
know
actually got a
upfront
job
about
now.
How much your care will cost.
He
And
DM'd me, I
your
guess, late
expenses
last night.
makes
Said, I got a
planning your
job,
financial
uncle. I was like,
future easier.
hell yeah.
I'm glad my husband and I can use our savings to do the things we want to do. I'm glad I don't have to
Remote
shop for a
job.
new
I
plan
think
every
he's
year.
a mod for
That's
some
right.
Discord,
Once
like
you
a
enroll,
paying
your
mod.
coverage is guaranteed for as long as you keep this plan.
Yeah.
Have questions? Call United
I don't know if all these
with a licensed
affiliate people
insurance
making
agent or
that kind of
producer.
money, they can
They know
pay
a lot
people to
about
be
what makes
mods
these
and
plans
shit. I
smart
said,
now
what?
And really smart later. Or just ask
And
for
I
this
checked,
free
I
guide,
checked the
benefits
Twitter
and rates in
profile,
one
and
place,
they
so
don't
it's
have
easy
but
to compare
1,000
options.
followers. How you
Year to
afford
year,
to pay
94%
mods?
of members renew
I don't
their
know. Maybe I'm
plan.
doing it wrong.
And Medicare supplement plans with the AARP name are the only Medicare supplement plans endorsed by AARP, meeting their high standards of service and quality. So give United Healthcare a call today and set yourself and your future self up with an AARP Medicare
Well, I get some
supplement plan
deal
from
and some
United
like
Healthcare.
firm and stuff. They give me like a set deal
Winnie,
like,
look at
for a couple months.
Thanks again for looking out for me. We're in this together.
Like oh, I can't say that now. I'll tell you later about the
Healthcare.
Tradeify.
Smart now, really smart later.
But the tournament's free.
Age-related
Don't forget to
memory
sign up.
decline? Meet new QNOL Brain Health, the first and only tablet to combine
Later
two
though.
high absorption
I had to get the link.
clinically shown to improve memory, focus, attention, and more. Trust QNOL for more comprehensive brain health support.
Yeah, those are the big people like Brian Stonks and stuff. But this guy that Cat Daddy's doing, it's like I look at his Twitter, it's like yeah, it's okay. It's not like big. I don't know.
Jim, what's on Matt tonight?
Yeah, ain't that PW?
I've got Domino's. Russell Weiner mentioned him earlier. I've got Salesforce because this is Dreamforce. I have Okta. It's Todd McKinnon on cybersecurity. And then I have Julie Sweet from Accenture. Let's see if that stock hasn't gotten too cheap. There we go.
Busy week, just getting started, really, Jim. We look forward to it.
Very excited.
Tonight and all week long. That's Jim Cramer
Thank you.
out west. When we come back, Sarah's interview with ECB President Lagarde as the Dow's down about 400. A lot of bank weakness. Stay with us.
Yeah.
When you're actively trading, the fees really start to
Oh,
add
I
up.
know what you're talking about.
Public is
And
the only
that's a big
platform that
website. I
offers
remember
rebates
Matt,
on option trades, which
Matt from My
offset
Future.
those
They
costs.
pay to be on
It's
his
a simple
site.
way to help me keep more of what I earn.
No matter what kind of home you're looking for, it's waiting for you on Redfin. And when you find it, see it before anyone else. Book a showing right now only on Redfin. Find your dream home on Redfin, powered by Rocket.
Dear Dr. K, I used to think I was never meant to be beautiful. I was teased because of my teeth. I didn't like the person looking back at me in the mirror. I never thought I could afford dental implants. You and your team worked within my budget and helped me feel confident in the plan we made together. I love my new smile. Thank you.
Congratulations,
So he's banking that hard, huh?
Lifetime warranty on zirconia arches, only at Clear Choice. Call to schedule a free consultation.
I use PayPal to buy this ticket. I'm paying it
Wow.
off over time. And I get 5% cash back. No fees, no interest.
You know what else has no interest? Me.
Now I know why your parents are sitting up in business.
Hey, you could have upgraded.
Make the most of your money this holiday. PayPal.
Wednesday, financial experts, investors, and policymakers gather in D.C. for critical conversations on America's economy.
Smart guy. Is he American?
CNBC's Invest in America Forum. Learn more at cnbcevents.com/invest.
Guess that's why everybody's doing this website. Like JMU and everybody else is doing a website.
And HEB certified meat cutters like me.
And me. We hand cut and grind fresh beef 7 days a week.
High quality beef and custom cuts.
Oh yeah.
Tailgating like HEB.
That's my buddy.
Hey son, before you get married, we need to have the talk.
Not right now, Dad. I need to go over my vows. Is L. Duncan going to talk to me about
Setting a budget when you bet. I heard that you won that long shot parlay, but that you haven't won since. Just because you win big once doesn't mean you figured it all out.
Still need to have that talk about
Celebrating love. That is what today is all about. At ESPN, we believe the best play is a
Yeah, his
smart play.
website's good, but I talked to him. He's not like banking like Kellyanne and
Swipe for news and highlights. Now available on the ESPN app.
Wednesday, financial experts, investors, and policymakers gather in D.C. for critical conversations on America's economy. CNBC's Invest in America Forum. Learn more at cnbcevents.com/invest.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, Gambit. QQQ went short.
Good Tuesday morning. Welcome to Squawk on the Street. I'm Carl Quintanilla with David Faber here at Post 9 of the New York Stock Exchange. Sarah Eisen
I don't know. Pre-loan call might be good for now or not.
Central Bank President Lagarde. Busy morning for Sarah in our nation's capital.
I don't know what to do. It's just chopping now.
Giving back almost all of Monday's bounce. Dow's down 400. Goldman taking about 200 points out of the Dow this morning. You can see the 10-year back to 404, although off of the morning lows.
Eval?
Bank earnings this morning showing some investment banking's back. We're going to drill down in some of those key reports.
I'm trying to get this payout first before I work on my eval.
We'll talk to one of New York City's
largest
real estate owners about what he's seeing. And then there's Etsy.
Scare. Just trying to trade.
The CEO, Josh Silverman's going to join us, talk about the
market is brutal.
And how it's incorporating AI into its business.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was shorting and I just got out break even and woke up and dumped 600 points. I was like, hey, son of a bitch.
You'll hear from ECB President Christine Lagarde. You'll hear from the U.S. Trade Rep Jameson Greer, Ambassador Greer with me in the next hour as China, U.S. tit-for-tat trade concerns take center stage again in the market right now. But guys, I wanted to highlight the data point of the day. We're lacking economic data in this government shutdown here in D.C. because that's not happening here. But we did get NFIB, the National Federation of Small Businesses. Basically, they give their optimism, pessimism report, and it was a step back.
Come see me and I'll give you COVID.
A decline for the month of September, the optimism index overall for small business.
I got my COVID shots. I feel good.
Here, you know, we're still not too far from the highs. The recent high was 104.5 back, you know, in February 2020. 93 is kind of the average in 2024. But it is notable that
it looks like it wants to pump, but I don't want to long.
The uncertainty
I don't
index
know.
rose to the highest level since
See,
February
in
in that
yet.
index. I don't know, guys. When my kids have meltdowns, we ask them, is it a big deal or a little deal? This one feels like a little deal, but it is worth watching when it comes to the way small businesses are feeling. Not as bad as they could have been, given all of the tariffs, but something to watch as we sure monitor the economic signals to find out if we're heating up or if we're cooling down. There really is some debate on that, Carl, right now.
Later, buddy.
Just note in here, you know, more firms planning to raise prices, so we're going to be on the lookout for that on inflationary worries, but also more firms planning to hire people.
That's normal time, buddy.
Some of the concerns about a soft labor market.
Yeah, one thing we haven't gotten to yet this morning are some of those tariffs on lumber and kitchen cabinets and vanities, which go into effect, not to mention some of the heightened rhetoric out of China in the last 24 hours.
Right, which is a bigger deal for small business if it has to import, you know, kitchen cabinets or lumber or anything from China. They just don't have as much scale or diversity in the supply chain as some of the bigger businesses. So that, you know, it could be what's being reflected here in the rising uncertainty. You know, Jamie Dimon, of course, JP Morgan chief on this morning.
I ain't gonna say anything mean to Mugo. Mugo's my buddy, my homie.
The slower jobs market, but then described the overall economy as resilient. He says, while there have been some signs of softening, particularly in job growth, the U.S. economy generally remained resilient. However, there continues to be a heightened degree of uncertainty stemming from complex geopolitical conditions, tariffs, trade uncertainty, elevated asset prices, and the risk of sticky inflation. So that really summarizes, I think, what you're seeing in things like the small business survey. It also really gets at what you'll hear from in just a few minutes, Christine Lagarde,
I think it'll be cold by November.
Talking about concerns about some of that uncertainty influencing the real economy.
Yeah, I mean, Sarah, I'm looking forward to you talking to Jameson Greer as well.
52 in bed, yeah, it's actually pretty chilly. Hell yeah.
Impact on our broader equity markets right now. You know, certainly some press at least seems to indicate
we just gonna sit here and do nothing. Come on, what are we gonna do? Short or long?
Constructive level of dialogue that may already be happening, but I'll be very curious to
I missed a long.
To get
I had a
take
long.
on where things stand in terms of the rare earth licenses that then
I'm up $27 on my pro. I just cash it out and take my $1,200.
Starting November 1st. What time are you doing that interview?
That's in Money Movers in the 11 o'clock hour. He's going to be here with me in Washington. So you'll have to tune in, David. I know you always do, even though you leave set. But I think, you know, and now we have this new sort of issue of the U.S. subsidiaries of South Korean shipping companies being not allowed to do business with Chinese companies. So just more sort of back and forth. Who has the leverage?
What time's he coming on, ISIS?
Vocally opposed the threats of tariffs from the U.S. So does that make the U.S. do anything different? I think we're all on alert for any kind of post on Truth Social from President Trump in reaction to that. And is President Trump and President Xi still on track to speak at the end of the month? Remember that? That's a big question, I think, that investors have. So hopefully we'll get some answers.
Yeah, Besson seemed to suggest that meeting is still on track, but we don't know for sure. And as you said, a lot of the commentary over the past couple of days that the ability to get back to that calmness of post-April might be a little more elusive this time. We'll see. Meantime, we're watching the banks. Helping us to break down what we've gotten so far this morning is Erica Najarian, UBS large cap bank and consumer finance analyst, joins us this morning. Erica, thanks for the help today. Busy day.
Very busy day.
I wonder if you can help us, some of the qualitative stuff coming out of JP Morgan, almost even a split between Diamond's view and the CFO's view about the future for employment and hence credit quality. Are you surprised by anything we've gotten today?
I'm not really surprised, but I think given the Tricolor and other bankruptcies out there in the market, investors are definitely more skittish. And I think that you might be seeing, in the reaction today is clearly the quarters from JP Morgan, Goldman, and Wells Fargo could be called standout, especially in some cases. But I think now,
let me know when you short. I'll jump
some of
in.
the policy overhang, investors are wondering, what are we missing? Is there a turn in credit that's about to come?
I need the dips I can buy long again. I love longing.
Carl, is not as much about the consumer, and it's really about non-depository financial institution or NDFI lending. That's
yeah, bot's still short, but it's already done. Bot took like 100-something points, so I don't follow the bot anymore.
Companies. I think that was a big part of the discussion in a JP Morgan call. And I think the quote from Mr. Diamond is that if you see a cockroach, there could be others. And so I think that has been, a big part of the investor
you may get a cheap one, but not your TPT.
Yeah, he added, and so everyone should be forewarned. Is that going to color your thesis or view?
Look, I mean, we have to. Let me put it to you this way.
Jeez,
revenues could be awesome from investment banking, loans could be growing, but credit quality deteriorating is the single most important and overwhelming catalyst for banks and bank stocks.
I was long at 460
so
too.
It's very clear that if there's something in the air, that's something that we should consider as we think about the go forward for these stocks. So NDFI, according to regulatory data, is now 14% of money center and large regional
40 down and 200 up.
Like I said on the JP Morgan call, I don't even know what questions to ask about NDFI exposure as this has grown significantly. So this is certainly, something to watch.
Maybe.
But the great news is that the banks are
I'm scared they're gonna rug us, so I want to long.
A boatload of money, which is the first line in defensive credit. And we'll see if there is a downturn who the good underwriters are versus the not so good underwriters.
Is this a reserve build at JPM notable, or is that sort of within the realm of sort of reasonable quarterly business practice?
You print out your TPT payout and show your mom.
Pretty reasonable. Keep in mind that they did launch, Sapphire.
Actually, it looks pretty good. You're making that. You did it to ChatGPT.
Best quarter for net new account originations ever. And so when you put on new credit card loans or, new credit card lines, that does have a pretty high reserve attached to it.
I don't care.
So that's normal course of business. I think
okay, bot just went long on ES.
Is looking beyond the numbers that were posted this quarter and making sure we're assessing all the risks for the industry going forward.
Not what I care about for those certifications. They just want the money. You know what I mean?
Having the shackles unleashed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, when losers start doing daily payout, it's over.
Cap behind them, investors were saying, we'd rather be long other stories, like a Citi or a B of A heading into the
Today payout, more customer. But you need to have a bigger bankroll to, be safer.
17 to 18% on a tangible basis, and the net interest income for the fourth quarter is saying
to
us,
yeah.
Look, it is a big deal that we can grow our balance sheet. We could actually grow customers without any shackles, and that's going to deliver, better returns on capital. So I think we're just starting to see the beginning or the early innings of what new Wells could be in the future.
I don't know what to do. I'm just sitting here now.
Just got back to JP Morgan to end here. I mean, it's not unusual for it to be down on earnings. I feel as though oftentimes they report a number that's fairly well reviewed.
You think fish is green?
Down, and then during the course of the quarter, it moves up again. But is there anything else you think that is responsible for that decline?
Yeah, that's a big pump.
3.5% or so this morning?
So I think investors
Yeah, Fish makes a lot of his money on
probably,
gold.
Cleaned up
Gold, you can
short
make a lot.
positions, very technical thing yesterday, sort of anticipating a
You hear
better
what
revenue
BBB said
print.
yesterday about gold?
And
His
so I just
friend,
think about the
she
forward
lost
outlook for next
32,000
year.
with just 2
They're
contracts of
pretty
gold.
conservative. They tend to be conservative in their outlook. And essentially, they said
No,
that
real cash
consensus is
account.
pretty much in line for net interest income, but consensus was a little bit
Yeah,
too
you can lose a
high for
lot playing gold.
expenses. And this is an interesting to note as you think
That's
about
why I
your
stopped.
broader
I used to
discussion,
trade
David.
gold too on my
They
cash
essentially
account.
said that 3 to 4% is a normal rate of, labor market inflation in terms of comp expenses. But again,
I like the
I
second
think
one.
the phrase, if there's a cockroach or
I like
other
the bottom one.
cockroaches elsewhere, could not have made investors feel great. But I'm surprised that that read through
Nice
is
is funny.
to the stock of what we think is probably the best risk management out there versus hitting the rest of the group.
He's trying to make some fake certification, trying to be cool, and then he's gonna flex on Twitter. Hey, I'm a guru now.
Banks in the next hour as well. When we talk to Wells CFO Mike Santomassimo, he's going to join us on Money Movers at 11 a.m. Eastern. Sarah?
Here's our roadmap for you for the rest of the hour, including a first on CNBC interview with European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde, talking everything from the global growth outlook to trade tensions between the U.S. and China.
Plus, New York City's office
I don't think if he posts that, nobody's gonna believe it though.
Seeing its best office space leasing rate since 2006. We're going to break down what is behind
The thing ain't
that
long,
surge of
it's
business.
dipping.
We'll talk to the head of RXR Realty. It is one of the city's largest commercial real estate operators and owners.
And Etsy moving its listing to the NYSE from
I think
the
2
Nasdaq.
hours
Josh
into
Silverman's going to join us
hours.
at Post 9, talk about the change, how he's navigating these tariffs as we move further
Yeah,
into
Bud's
holiday.
done
Your
though. It
show's
should be
still ahead
done
as
with a
Walk on the
short,
Street continues.
right? It's at 8 o'clock now. It's only been an hour, so never mind.
At Corient,
3 minutes looks like got some upside. I want to try to long after a little
the
dip.
more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your
I
goals
should go back
as
to
our
gold.
own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build.
Look at gold.
And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Is this how you're hoping to retire? Well, hope isn't a good retirement strategy.
Oof, I should have long.
For a
What a
comfortable
pump.
retirement for years.
What a
Now
pump.
you need to plan for retirement income. Learn ways to avoid common mistakes, like being too conservative or not setting retirement goals.
Dude,
Have someone on your
Apex
side
just need to
keep
deny
you
my
on
shit.
track.
Still pending.
Call for Fisher's Comfortable Retirement Kit with the help you need to make your retirement a success.
Yeah, this is my
including
day
the Investor's
2.
Guide to a Comfortable Retirement, 13 retirement blunders to avoid, and maximize your Social Security. Call 1-800-759-4477.
I'm gonna end up blowing it because they won't freaking fix the
Fisher
thing.
tailors a plan to keep you on track for a retirement you want. And as a fiduciary,
Man, that's a
we
nice
do better
upside.
when our clients do better.
Call now for your Comfortable Retirement Kit. Call 1-800-759-4477.
No, I'm not long. I'm flat.
Call us today. You don't have it coming to you unless you plan for it.
If your portfolio is $1 million or more, call 1-800-759-4477.
Gold delivers when markets don't. G Mining Ventures operates Brazil's newest producing gold mine with proven reserves and cash flow. Now they've expanded to Guyana to repeat their success. G Mining Ventures, creating value through responsible mining.
You buy
I'm
low,
gonna text
sell
my wife. I
high,
want
on
you
that trend. Ride the wave. Stop. That's not how investing works. Wealth isn't won in a bet. Luck is not a strategy, and success demands discipline. You're serious about investing, right?
The connected world is crazy. Hackers, too many vendors, workers everywhere. But Cloudflare fights the crazy, protecting workers, consolidating vendors, so you can stay calm.
Welcome back. I am here in Washington, D.C. this
Yeah,
morning, where I just
you gotta
met
do
with
it every
European
time,
Central
too.
Bank President Christine Lagarde. We discussed her outlook for the European economy, monetary policy, and how
Yeah, we didn't
tariffs
get that
are
because I
impacting
think
her expectations
they
for
got
trade
hacked or
and
something.
development
But
across the
now
globe.
every time you
Last
got to
time we
connect.
spoke, it was back in April. Things looked very different right after Liberation Day. So I started by asking her if she's surprised.
But the
by
money
how
goes to the
resilient
bank
everything
really
has been.
quick, like
Listen.
less than 2 minutes.
I have been quite surprised at how resilient our economies have been, and that has been the case in Europe. So we feared the worst, and we had the bad, but it wasn't as bad as we had anticipated. In terms of growth, inflation, employment, I think that the economies have been very resilient and much more so than we had anticipated.
Well, Box need to understand life.
Well,
I don't think Box even trading Apex anymore, just TPT.
In terms of direct impact, Europe has 17% of its trade with the United States. So it is the largest partner, but it's not a massive amount of trade that we do with the US. So it does impact, and tariffs between the United States and Europe have gone from 1.5% to 13%. So that's a serious add-on, which has to be borne by someone, either the exporter,
Mountain Trader blew his TPT.
or the consumer. And the indications we have is that it's, at the moment, borne a third,
that's the one
and we'll see how that
gave him
because
for the
clearly the
freebie.
exporters and the importers are squeezing their
Oh wow,
margins
Wizard got 10
in order
points
to
on his
absorb
Tick Tick.
this additional tariff.
So what you've said lately at the latest policy meeting is that you think monetary policy is in a good place. You stopped cutting.
I think we are generally in a good place. So inflation is in a good place because we are at around 2%. We were at 2% on, really on the dot for 3 months. It went a little bit up in September. But I would say that the whole economy is in a good place. We upgraded our activity forecast. Unemployment is at rock bottom. Employment participation is up. And I would say that our monetary policy has done the job. We brought inflation back from the highest we had, 10.6%, back 2 years ago.
You're looking long or short, Gambit?
So we have a 2% interest rate at the moment, and we are positioned to respond.
I don't know if you do that. I'm asking you.
Order canceled. We are in that good place. Things can happen.
About to go.
They can be shocks. They can be good developments, less good
Order
developments.
submitted.
And I think we are well positioned to respond to those potential shocks. Remember, we always target.
Oh, Doc, yeah. He told me he got a $500 payout.
The latest reading is good. The medium-term inflation is looking good as well.
So you've done the job on inflation. Does that mean you're done cutting for now?
You didn't have to do that.
I would never say that because I think the job of a central banker is never done. So we tamed inflation so far. We are in a good place, as I said, but we have to anticipate.
I'll do it next weekend or maybe this weekend.
If we learned one lesson in the last year,
So
is
hamster.
that we have uncertainty. Entrepreneurs, corporates deal with uncertainty, but we have to deal with uncertainty. And this is something that models cannot necessarily predict with perfection, far from it. So we need to anticipate political development, geopolitical changes, the shift in global order as we have seen it, to understand how it impacts our world and our monetary policy.
How high is the bar for cutting now? What would make you do that?
I cannot say.
I'm trying.
I know you're trying very well, but no, it's as I repeatedly said, we are deciding meeting by meeting. We are data dependent. But when I say data dependent, we're looking at everything. We're looking at what the models produce. We're looking at what the empirical data reveal. We are applying some judgment as well to, as I said, capture some of the elements that are not easily captured by models.
So on the economic growth outlook, is it to the upside or downside right now? Where do you see the bigger risk?
I would say that it is more balanced than it was. And more so because some of the fears that we had in terms of, if you look at tariffs, we anticipated that there could be retaliation. There has not been retaliation by Europe, right? Uncertainty has abated. It's not back to where it was in, pre-COVID, but it has abated significantly. And on the exchange rate front, we had anticipated that the euro would depreciate.
Went up a lot.
And it went up.
12 bucks a piece is a lot.
On a daily basis, but we did not have any of those risks materializing as we had anticipated. There are risks to the downside as well, supply chain disruption, additional trade disruption, and the current days are not showing us complete stability, but the risks are much more balanced than they were.
What about the risk to inflation now?
Again, we have both upside and downside risk to inflation, and we are monitoring very carefully.
Damn, look at NQ now.
That balance stands, but I would say
Order
that it's
canceled.
Going
fairly
back to
balanced
NQ.
at the
Gold's
moment.
not
You said
moving.
that we don't necessarily
Order
have stability on
Upside
the,
for
on the
the
trade front.
15 minutes and the 3
So
minutes.
the latest
I
is
just want to
tit for
dip.
tat, U.S.
Order
China.
submitted.
How does that impact Europe? Do you find yourself in the middle when the U.S. and China go at it on trade?
Order canceled.
There are there are direct
It's
and
got like
indirect
another
impacts.
2 hours.
Direct impact is this business on rare earth and magnets. That impacts all countries in the world because there is no differentiation by China. China doesn't say it's directed at the
Bot
US.
just went
It
long
says
now.
it's directed at everybody.
Right, Europe needs
and of course, we import rare earth. We import
24643.
those products on which China has gently over the course of time.
Yeah, bot just went
built
long.
that
So if it dips, I'm gonna go
super competitive
long.
Position. So that's the direct impact, where licensing
We
export
die, we
restrictions
die.
are going to apply to Europe as much as it will apply to the United States. The indirect impact could be supply chain disruptions, and that we have not so far seen very
and I
much
did
of
die.
that, but we have to remain attentive. And the final factor that sort of compounds everything
What a
is
crazy
the level of
move.
uncertainty.
Dropped so much and it came back up.
In that sort of tit-for-tat
Order
escalation
submitted.
until they eventually meet, which I'm glad they will, that raises
Order
the level
filled.
of uncertainty, which
Order
obviously
submitted.
leads to apprehension on the part of
Order canceled.
corporate decision makers, on the part of employers, on the part of everybody, consumers as well. And you see savings go up as a result.
What do you want to see between the U.S. and China on trade?
I would like some certainty. I think that's what the economic
looks like
actors,
I have room
players
to go up more.
need. They want to know
Give us
where
a
they
dip.
stand now and in the future.
About long
Because when you
43?
decide to set up a factory somewhere, when you decide to buy a new ship, when you decide to identify the line of shipping for your products, you want to know what the reality of tariffs will be going forward. My hope is that there is enough
Order canceled.
open trade with the tariff
Order
restrictions
canceled.
that the two countries will decide, so that the movement of trade and goods can continue in a reasonably balanced way. My concern is that if there is too much restriction in that line of trade between China and the US, a lot of the goods that would naturally go to the US will be diverted somewhere else, diverted to Central and Eastern Asia, but diverted to Europe as well, and that would have consequences for inflation.
We saw in the recent data, export data from China, Europe grew, Africa grew more than 50%. So is Europe doing more trade with China now?
The movement of goods has increased, yes.
Is that a good thing?
Not to the extent that we had feared again, but it has increased, and that's what we had anticipated.
I mean, it's tricky.
In our forecast.
It's tricky for Europe because, for instance, China's building all these factories for its EV plants in Europe, but then that crowds out some of the European automakers.
Well, I don't think that it's building all these EV plants. There are a couple of countries where EV plants are being built.
I think Trader was messed up. My limit didn't hit. I'm looking at it, just ran past it, but it didn't feel anything. Something's wrong.
Yes.
I mean, do you have security
Yeah.
concerns, intellectual property concerns?
Of course. I mean,
dumping.
I think any
Same with
any
mine.
trading
And
partner has those concerns with all its trading partners. I've been a lawyer for 25 years of my life, and I know how intellectual property can be, gradually eroded, taken over, and a new factory suddenly pops up, which is based on that intellectual property. So I think that anyone
Trader had been crap lately.
Security concern, intellectual property concern.
And now
is
it
going
hit,
to have
and
to
I'm
be
super
on its
red.
guard, whatever the trading
It's
partner.
back on now.
Do you worry about geopolitical implications, ripple effects
Man,
of the
that's
tariff
so
policies?
messed up.
I think the tariff policies in and of themselves are going to create a readjustment, some supply chain modifications. And, I don't know what is causing the other. I'm not sure that it is tariffs that will have an impact on geopolitics. I think it's more geopolitics that is deciding tariffs.
In other words, Europe is such a strong friend and ally for the United States. Do tariffs change anything?
Order submitted. Order filled. Order submitted.
It changes
Wow.
things in the sense that
that really messed me up. No, that stupid Traderday thing really messed me up.
Has been deteriorating.
It won't close my position.
I believe that partners are strong enough and have
and now I'm stuck.
Sufficiently long
I don't.
history of support,
I'm just gonna bag for a little bit longer.
So that can be overcome, and a stable situation can be agreed.
76.
I think there are imbalances that needed to be discussed and will be discussed.
I tried canceling it, but it won't let me.
During these IMF meetings. But equally, I think that a predictable relationship is necessary to restore the quality.
I can get out now, but I'm just trying to hold on to it. I wanted to cancel earlier, but it won't let me.
Did Europe give up too much in the latest trade negotiation? There's a deal on the table where Europe invests a lot, over $1 trillion in the U.S., and now pays 15% tariffs.
Order canceled.
Look, I'm not going to characterize or pass judgment. What has happened, and now we deal with the economic consequences of it, and we have to do the best we can in terms of policies, and that's what I'm doing.
But it sounds like it's changed your attitude a little bit.
No, I'm still in love with this country.
I feel a lot of people doing bad today, too.
We can settle the relationship on good terms that are based on trust, predictability, and, reciprocated consideration.
Christine Lagarde, the head of the European Central Bank. I'll share more of my conversation with her during Money Movers in the 11 o'clock hour, guys, including her take on the political chaos in France and those rising bond yields, the record gold price, whether there's an AI bubble, and much more. Some of the more market-based financial stability questions facing a central banker right now. But Carl, I thought she was really profound and sort of took a moment to really think about her answer there when it comes to the geopolitical implications and friendships around what's happening with tariffs and trade. She's been one of the few voices out for globalization and increasing trading and working together. So you could clearly sense that, it's changed her attitude a little bit.
Yeah, no, that was definitely a
crazy.
Considered answer to your question. No doubt there, Sarah. Interesting. Look forward to more. Meantime, GM taking the staggering charge related to its EV business and out with a new warning for the entire industry today. We'll get details next. Etsy, as we said, moving from the NASDAQ to the NYSE. CEO Josh Schulman's going to tell us why, break down their new OpenAI deal this hour. Don't go anywhere.
No, we tried to wait for the pullback so long, but it never came back. The bot already ate on that long. Holy cow.
Your employees having a similar work style. You hired them, or your staff all having the same vibe. I like the style. And your design team being on the same page?
Market sucks.
For 2002. What AT&T does guarantee, our best
$200 away from getting my points down negative.
And we mean any.
We started Henyon and Walsh for people like
you. That can still come down.
People who share our values, integrity, honesty, and loyalty. The result? We're different because we care about you and your success. We're dedicated to your financial goals, so we'll always give you our very best efforts because you've earned it. We're Henyon and Walsh and committed to you. Get in touch today.
AI can turn your lights on.
Like it's a good day today.
And drive your car. And even write your kid's essay. But AI ain't gonna fix your broken water line or pay for the big repair bill. Having a plan from HomeServe offers real solutions. And when a covered system breaks, we'll send a qualified contractor and pay for the repair. There's nothing artificial about the peace of mind you get with a plan from HomeServe. Getting one is intelligent.
Plans from HomeServe start at just $4.99 a month.
Call 1-800-324-1464 or visit homeserve.com.
Wow.
Omaha Steaks Black Friday deals
Order
landed
canceled.
early, and they'll
Take pictures.
ring your bell. We're talking 50% off everything and an extra 20% off
That'd be pretty
select
cool.
packages.
Order
Plus,
submitted.
exclusive limited time deals across the site. These are the deals on USDA certified tender Omaha Steaks you've been waiting for. It's all 50% off or more. Shop now to get the only steak delivery guaranteed to...
Whoa!
Amazing.
Love this.
At omahasteaks.com/TV.
Yep.
A heart attack? Do they have life insurance?
No.
But we have life insurance. John.
I'm trying to find something we can afford.
Fortunately,
it won't go down at all.
Found John a $500,000 policy for only $29 a month.
And his wife Anne a $500,000 policy for only $21 a month. Go to
I don't want to long anymore.
now and
Okay, I
get
think
the
it's gonna
insurance
pull
your
back a
family
little
needs.
bit.
At a price
I just
you
want to
can
get out
afford.
my
Select quote.
PTT.
We shop, you save. Start streaming. Go to cnbc.com/plus now. How do you see wealth? Money in the bank? Precious commodities? Find financial clarity with CNBC's trusted resources. Keep your future in focus. CNBC. Live ambitiously.
Okay, what's up? Oh
30
shit.
minutes into the hour, three big movers were watching today.
Let me get
Global
out.
hardware
Order
company
canceled.
Ericsson
What's up?
surging on an earnings beat, driven by cost-cutting measures and the sale of one of its U.S. subsidiaries. GM set to take a $1.6 billion hit after adjusting its EV plans, saying in the release they, quote, expect the adoption rate of EVs to slow and that the reassessment
you might
is
wanna
ongoing, which means additional
clear
impacts
out
are
your,
possible in the future. Domino
cookies
shares in the green
with
after a
cache.
profit and same-store sales beat thanks to growth in carryout and
I thought you're an
delivery
IT guy.
across all income cohorts. By the way, don't miss the CEO later tonight on Mad Money at 6 p.m. Eastern Time.
After the break, the CEO of Etsy
Woo,
is with us.
I needed this
breaking down
drop.
our
Come
new
on, give me
partnership with
91. I had to average
OpenAI
down.
and the
I'm
big
out.
move from
Thank
NASDAQ
you.
to now trade right here
Fuck
on
you,
the
Trader
New York
Bait.
Stock Exchange. She's going to join us next. Plus, stocks are seeing pressure this morning as
What
China
a
pushes
drop.
back against President Trump's proposed tariff increase with new sanctions of their own. You will hear from U.S. Trade Representative Jamison Greer about what is next. That's later on in Money Movers. Don't go anywhere.
If there's one thing I've learned over 3 decades of investing,
Oh shoot, let me get the
what you don't
raffle
own
ticket started before I
matters
go
just
pee.
as much as what you do.
It's a 50K
That's why I've
TPT game
always
bit. Hope
been
you
drawn to
win.
The idea of upgrading your portfolio, replacing overhyped or outdated names with
What?
stronger, lesser-known opportunities. It's the
I
thinking
did?
kind of
I don't know.
strategy
I don't
I've
think
come
so.
to rely
I have to
on,
email
what I
them.
call
You didn't tell me you
sell
wanted it
this,
or not.
buy
Did you
that.
want it?
I'm Eric Fry, and as a stock analyst, author, and futurist, I show
Let me
my
know.
followers how to move out of
No, no,
big
I got
name,
more. I
well-loved stocks
can always ask
that
for
are on the
more.
verge of
They
melting
love me
down
there.
and into ones with the potential to deliver serious upside.
Let me finish this one first.
DM
DM me your email, and I'll email both the winners on YouTube and then you.
And outperforming the market by more
Can't
than
Google.
and it's the same kind of thinking that's helped
I
me
don't have
build
that
a
many left.
long-term track record, including 41 recommendations that have gone
It's
on
only
to return
50K, Google. It's
1,000%
not for
or
you.
more. I
I'm
put together a
sorry.
brand new
Your
free
DJ has me
presentation to walk
150K.
through some of my latest sell this, buy that pair trades. These calls are a little contrarian. I'll be the first to admit that. But if you're open to viewing the markets through a different lens, here's a quick preview of what you'll see I'm recommending today when you visit the website right here on your screen. Sell Amazon. Buy a little-known e-commerce company that's much like buying Amazon in 2005. Sell Bank of America. Buy an online fintech platform that's capturing
got
an
it.
entirely
I'll
new
let them
generation
know.
of banking customers. Sell Tesla. Buy a little-known robotics company that's already miles ahead of Tesla.
You can't win twice,
in the
man.
AI robotics race. Each of these trade ideas.
It'd be funny,
have
yeah.
full name,
No.
ticker,
Do
and
the
analysis
YouTube
on our
thing.
website
If
at
you
no
win,
cost.
I don't have to ask for
Or
two.
simply open the camera on your phone and point it at the QR code you see on your screen right now. When you do, I've got a total of 7 free sell this.
Yeah,
buy
he's a
that
greedy
recommendations,
motherfucker.
including names, tickers, and analysis waiting for you at no cost.
I'll find you at 150, Google.
Can't
You
get
just
enough
gotta
of
give me
our
time.
tasty pancakes.
Look, there's one right now. Just salivating at the thought of a piping hot pancake ready to eat in 60 seconds.
Ooh, watch out, kid.
Yeah, he seems fine.
Oh yeah, no pictures, nothing.
You can explore a
Oh,
faraway
fake anyways.
forest to bask in the scent of balsam and cedar. Or
It is
you can
fake.
enjoy it from the
Fake
comfort
it
of
till
your
you
home
make it,
with
right?
the Yankee Candle fragrance. Yankee Candle, the scent you've been seeking.
It's okay.
Now new in Horse Club. Here comes the lakeside truck with
Yeah,
trailer.
Google, you get your
Those
pro or
double
no?
wheels can go anywhere, packed with everything you need. Horses, even a shelter with a paddock and loads of awesome riding gear. Join the Horse Club.
I mean, I gotta go pee.
Etsy ringing the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange today, celebrating its listing move from the NASDAQ to the big board officially as of yesterday. And it comes as shares hover at fresh highs up 20% over the last month following the company's inclusion in OpenAI's new instant checkout shopping feature. Here to break it all down in a CNBC exclusive is Etsy CEO Josh Silverman. Josh, it's good to see you at the exchange. Sorry I couldn't be with you today. I'm in DC, but you guys characterize this as the new chapter, the next chapter in Etsy. And when I think of the sort of eras that I've covered in Etsy's life, it's the growth in the beginning, it's the COVID era, and now you're kind of in your new AI era. Talk a little bit about that and why the move.
Yeah, well, first, with the move, we're so excited.
Yo, Gambit, you want Lucid instead? Because I don't want you to just have everything. You just want TPT?
And I think it is an incredibly exciting time for us as we enter our third decade. And so many
Lucid's, it's no activation.
Particularly with AI and generative AI, are unlocking incredible new
Yeah, it's like,
potential for
don't
Etsy
put all your
to
money
achieve
into
our
TPT
mission
only, you know?
Even more powerfully than we've ever been able to do before. Etsy is about keeping commerce human. We connect over 5 billion sellers
you don't
with
win
over
this
80
YouTube thing.
million buyers.
Order submitted.
And it's the combination of technology with humans that's so powerful at
Yeah,
Etsy.
you had it before. You beta test for him.
Model is
Order
also the
submitted.
combination of technology with humans. So we think it's a nice symbolic moment
Order
for this
filled.
exciting
How much
next
money?
chapter
Any
for Etsy.
$180
Speaking of the
left?
stock exchange, is it harder to be a public company? And,
Order
you know, while
submitted.
your stock has done very well, it's obviously way off the highs that we saw during COVID. Is it harder to be
Yeah,
a
take your
public
time,
company and
Google.
to
Just
invest in a
take
new
your time. You
chapter of
can.
growth around
Oh, Google,
AI,
you see what
really
Gambit did,
double
right?
down
On his TPT
in that
Pros?
kind of transformational
He got to the
technology
buffer
right
on
now?
150, so 4,500, and then he cashed out and closed the account and took $5 grand.
Order filled. Order
You
submitted.
should think about doing that too.
Are the investors
Order
that we care about are
submitted.
the ones who believe in our future, and we think we've got an incredibly bright future ahead.
Yeah, you had to be above the
And
buffer,
so we think
and then you can
investments
just
we're
cash
making
out
in
50% of it.
technology
So
right
it's
now
like
can not
free
only drive
money.
a lot of productivity. AI
2
is gonna
accounts.
do so much for every company to help with the bottom
Yeah,
line,
it's good
help
money.
them to become more productive. With Etsy, what I'm so excited about is it's also going to help drive the top
Yeah,
line.
let
because
us
it
know.
helps us
Or let
fulfill our
Gambit
mission
know. He did
even
it.
more powerfully. It helps us to become so much more personalized than we could, and to answer questions like which of these items is the most artisanal and the best fit for you. Things, frankly, other commerce companies are not worried about.
I dropped this shit. I'm
are
short. Let's go,
uniquely
baby.
benefited by AI, and so
Order
I think the future
filled.
for Etsy is very bright.
There's an item on the tape this
Taking
morning
way
about
too long.
Walmart and ChatGPT. How do you see this sort of disintermediation
Order
working out, where you
submitted.
can simply say, "Get me those brown shoes that I saw the other day on the street"?
What's
You know,
wrong?
I think that Etsy is
The
disproportionately
Google I know don't give a
positioned
shit.
to
It'll just
win
trade. Doesn't matter
in a
how
world of
scary it
generative
is.
AI and
Man, you became a
agentic
pussy
commerce.
now.
So
What the
many
hell?
of my peers are coming from a defensive stance where they're worried about
I know.
these chatbots because what the chatbots
You went to
are
a
going to do is
lake
they're
and
going to
became a
scour the
coward.
web and they're going to discover that the item for sale in this place is for sale in 50
Yeah,
other
I can't talk
places.
shit. I'm sorry.
And now it's just going to help you find the very cheapest version that'll arrive the fastest. On Etsy, we've got over 100 million items that are genuinely unique and special, made by the maker just for you. So we have something really unique to offer.
Order
And
filled.
in that world, I think these chatbots are
will
going
not
to
drop.
surface Etsy
Order
very
submitted.
often as a great alternative. And I think ultimately we are a real winner in this.
So that notion that it's so good at curating and
Wow.
finding the lowest price, hence
Dude,
margin
Buck was up
compression,
100 points
you see
short.
yourself
Now
being
it's up
protected
100 points
somewhat from
long.
I think so, because what an agent is going to want to
and
do
I'm
is
going
not
against
present
the
you
bot.
usually with one answer. It's going to want to present you with a few choices. Here's the cheapest thing you can buy. Here's the thing that's going to arrive the fastest. And then maybe here's the thing that's the most special or unique. And in that world, I think very often Etsy gets presented as one of the most interesting options. And I also
Yeah, you got
think
lucky.
it's going to be able to provide us so much
Imagine
more
you blew
context.
that.
These agents are going to know you.
You'd be so
really
mad,
well.
but now you got a
And
nice
so where
payout.
often people show up on Etsy and they give us maybe 3 keywords. A chatbot is going to be able to give us paragraphs of context about who you are and what you like, your tastes and your preferences. Is this just for you, or is it a gift for someone else, for example? And we can do so much more with that in that world. That's why
Yeah,
we
you-
are on offense here.
You got really lucky, dude. Like, really lucky.
So much more with that in that world. That's why we are on offense here, and we're partnering with many of the leading model builders in their very first launches. We have a seat at the table to help define what this future is going to look like.
Google, did you get your tickets on YouTube?
In terms of broadly speaking, what, as you see the evolution of AI more broadly, do you see the impact? You know, when I think about it, I sort of sometimes wonder, well, are people going to have jobs to spend money on Etsy? How do you view the longer term here? Positively?
I think net, it's positive for humanity. There are certainly risks we have to worry
What about
But
Box?
in my experience,
Fuck
the
you, Box. I ain't
technology
giving you
evolves
shit.
much faster than humans and business processes evolve. So what the technology is going to be capable
I know,
of
like,
is going to be far in
Box,
advance.
I'm
of
so
what we
sad I
are
lost
prepared to
250K
adopt.
pro. I
And
didn't
so
know about the
changes are actually
$9,000
evolve over a
payout.
longer period of time than I think some people
Kinda
might be
bamboozled
thinking,
me.
but ultimately their power will be terrific. And so for
Y'all up
Etsy,
late last
for
night, huh?
example, we're about an individual maker of over 5 million sellers. Most of them are a business of one working from their home. And these new AI technologies are going to allow those makers to connect with tens of millions of buyers even better and be able to create a human connection, be able to create a feeling of friendship and community in a world that can feel more anonymous. So I think that this technology is going to superpower Etsy.
You did. I don't have any for you. I only got 50.
A lot of businesses. And in a time when there's so much macro uncertainty, one thing we've seen is Etsy is so
You know who's
resilient.
picky?
You don't have
Jay-Z.
complex supply
Motherfucker's so
chains like
picky.
so many other people do. And so
Oh,
I think,
man.
again, this technology is going to help our sellers with their resiliency come meet
I think I
the
already
moment
did.
time and
Should
again
be done
when
now.
consumers really
Or
need
tomorrow
us.
will be done.
That's just where I was going to go, Josh, which was the macro uncertainty and the tariff question, you know, at front and
Don't
center
want
again
Tick
today.
Tick. Don't
We see
want
100%
Lucid. Don't want
tariffs on
anything
China
but
as we
Tradeday.
continue to see higher tariff rates across the globe. How's it impacting you and your products?
You know, Etsy
Yeah, I
has been
do. I
so
gave it out on
resilient through
YouTube.
pandemics and supply
They don't
chain
give you
shocks
many.
and
They
so
only
many
give me
things.
2
We have over
per month,
60
so
million items
I
made
can't
by
stash
US
some and give
sellers
it out.
available for sale for US buyers. And then we've got tens of millions of other items available from other countries. The vast majority of our supply outside the US is in Europe, actually. We have very, very little
But
supply
you like
coming
Tradeday.
from
The
Asia.
Daily
And
Pal is
we've
pretty
worked
good, but you
really
have to make
hard with our
250
sellers
to get it
outside
though.
the US
Minimum
to
250
help them
payout.
understand how to comply with the tariffs and do it in a way that minimizes cost and
No,
makes
no, don't
sure
fee
that
anything.
packages
It's
travel
sent straight to
quickly.
Rise.
So I think over time, Etsy will be very resilient to this.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Our
So there's
value
no
proposition
fee.
will get stronger relative to our competitors.
Oh, thank you.
Josh, really good to talk to you about all the
Have
AI
milk, right?
excitement and everything else
I
going
need
on.
milk.
Josh
I gotta
Silverman,
poop.
the CEO of Etsy. Thanks
for your time.
Thanks, Josh. All right, New York City
Shut up,
is
Candace.
back. Yeah, at least according to our next guest, RXR Scott Record
Huh?
joins us. He'll explain
No.
why right here at Post 9 after the break.
Oh, I'm been off.
At Corient,
Yeah, that was last week.
begins and ends with you.
Can't troll 2 weeks in a row.
We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals
I bet you don't
as our
believe
own.
me, do you, Gambit?
We never lose focus.
I'll show
on
you the
what we
video.
wanna build. And our experienced advisors
How about
design
the
custom-built
couch thing?
strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated
I gotta
as you
find it.
are. It's time for Corient.
This thing need to drop so I can get out. This short is not working. 22.
Rebo, we can't agree on that house.
Yeah, I want to make money.
With over 500,000 new listings every month, you could find the one today.
This could be it.
Better put a key ring on it.
Realtor.com.
These bills are crazy.
She has no idea she's sitting on a gold mine.
Well, she doesn't know that if she owns a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more, she can sell all or part of it to Coventry for cash, even a term policy.
Even a term policy?
Find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. Call Coventry Direct today at 800-476-0100 or visit CoventryDirect.com.
I sent you the video.
CNBC's Changemakers
You know,
2026 list.
people thought I was joking around, but I wasn't.
Lead boldly and are transforming business. Do you know someone who is rewriting the future? Nominate them now at cnbc.com/changemakers.
Every day, I'm checking the markets throughout the trading session, working
I
with
should have
analysts,
got out.
talking to sources to share insights, information,
It's a nice, comfy couch, right?
you need to make money.
Closing bell overtime for
I'll show it to
Eastern
Lynn,
and
too.
streaming on CNBC Plus.
Big banks are in focus this week, but don't lose sight of some of the other earnings results that may give a read on the economy. One of those stocks has been anything but trucking to the upside. So is there a way to get it out of reverse? Tune into our Market Navigator segment later on today on Power Lunch for more on that
Come on, baby.
trade,
Let me out.
2 p.m. Eastern Time.
Trading at Schwab is powered by Ameritrade.
giving you even more specialized trading support. Connect with the Schwab Trade Desk, our team of passionate traders ready to tackle your trading questions, no matter how complex. Plus, get 24/7 live help and access support by phone, email, and in-platform chat. Trade brilliantly with Schwab.
Order
Crypto
submitted.
staking just hit Wall Street. For the first time ever, staking rewards are available through a US-listed ETF. Introducing SSK, the Rex Osprey Sol plus staking ETF. Solana exposure with staking rewards built in. Convenient, cost-effective. Solana, staked on your behalf. All through a simple ETF.
Len, if I get enough to get a payout today from bulenox, I'll get the payout tomorrow, right? I don't have to wait the whole week. Next week.
To obtain it and read carefully before investing. Distributed
Order
by Foresight
filled.
Fund Services.
Demand for New
Order
York City's
submitted.
office market reaching levels that it has not seen in decades. The
Oh,
Wall Street Journal reported
if
today
I request it
Manhattan's leasing
tonight,
activity just hit
I
the
won't get it
highest level
tomorrow,
it's
will
had
I?
since 2006. More than 23 million square
Dang,
feet leased
a
in
long
the
wait
first
then.
9 months of this year. RXR Chairman and CEO Scott Reckler, he is one of the city's largest real estate owners, joins us now to talk about that. And we sometimes get to some other things, but good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I mean, I can remember us having plenty of conversations, and they've usually started on a fairly morose or dour or wherever however you want to describe it.
That way to actually.
No, but I was surprised
Hey,
at the
$100 more
level of
dollars.
optimism in the store today and/or the numbers themselves. Are you surprised?
I mean, listen, I've been living it, so I'm not surprised. And you know, even your last
Order
guest,
filled.
everyone's talking about this AI revolution, right? And you think about what makes companies successful in AI, it's compute power and people power. And Manhattan office buildings
Order
are
submitted.
the people data centers of the AI era. And so what we've seen is this big surge of companies that are looking to grow. They need the talent, and to be able to attract the talent, they need the best space that's well located, that has the best amenities, and they want to be
We
a city like
got
New
15
York
minutes
has
into
this
the race.
incredible ecosystem that brings together capital, people, customers, all these diverse industries, so domain expertise that really you can't replace anywhere else in the country.
Yeah, that would seem to be the case. Now, we've talked often, though, about the divergence between the A properties and everything else. And even during the tougher times, not that long ago, the best properties were still garnering significant leases. Has that changed? Are we starting to see it trickle down now, given the scarcity?
Yep, so there still is this flight to quality, right? As a matter of fact, in the first 9 months of this year, there were 140 leases signed at over $100 a foot, which is as many as all of last year. But because there's such a scarcity of space,
Order
of high quality
canceled.
space, you're starting to see it trickle down to a degree. There's some buildings that are still obsolete. The good news
I
there is
need
there's other alternatives,
$100
right?
more
There's
dollars
things
on
like
this.
conversions we spoke about in the past, and there's been some
And
good
I get
public
my
policy
8
put in
points.
place that
Order
specifically
submitted.
this 467M, which provides tax abatements that really has broadened the aperture of what buildings you can actually convert. And
So you can get more capital potentially to work, because some of these, as we pointed out, are very expensive.
That's right, and so now because of this basically it's like 90% tax abatement for 35 years. So things pencil out they didn't. So we're, for example, converting 5 Times Square, a building I never would have imagined that we convert to residential, into 1,200 units of residential. And so there's right now like something like an estimate of 20 to 40,000 units of
You're not
residential.
trading
that
Gambit, or
come
you're just not
from office
just
buildings,
waiting?
which is 20 to 40 million square feet of
Well, the
space.
shortage of housing certainly played a role and continues to play a role in the upcoming mayoral race here. It's certainly one of the key reasons why a socialist was nominated to be the Democrats' nominee. What's he going to do if, as seems likely at this point still, unclear, but likely that he will become the mayor?
Listen, I mean, New York's in a unique spot, and people don't appreciate it. Like, different than LA and San Francisco, a lot of the governance and
still got
oversight
an
in New
hour,
York City
hour and a half,
falls
so
to
I've
the
got
governor,
plenty of
right? You
time.
can't raise rent, you can't raise real estate taxes, you can't raise taxes, fiscal responsibility, public safety dollars. That falls with the governor, and the governor's been very clear that she's not going to let a mayor come in and raise taxes. Now, where they have some capability is on rent, particularly on rent-regulated apartments. There's a committee that the mayor appoints, and he's been pretty clear that he wants to freeze rents. Now, that's a formula that's been tried before and it's failed before, because the way you actually create more affordability in housing is build more housing. And so, the hope is if he becomes mayor, we got to convince him.
Have you talked to him?
I've met with him. He's come to my office.
What do you think?
Listen, I think he's moving away from being a politician running for office to someone that's got to govern. And just Mario Cuomo used to say, right? When you politic, you do that in poetry and you govern in prose, right? And I think he's trying to get there. Now the proof's going to be in the pudding. Yeah. And
market, right? You did market, right?
I'll do whatever I can to try to.
Yeah, it does a lot to me. That feel rate is garbage.
He knows that we don't think it's the right thing, but we got to hold the governor accountable. If things go bad in terms of public safety, that's probably the.
They used to use that on the Tick for the Project X, but it was so bad. I can't stand it.
So the mayor does,
and I think that's the area when I spoke to him, like that's the most critical thing, right?
And the movement's not that fast for it to be $200 short.
Feel safe is safe, and that the NYPD is behind him. He's going to be a one-term mayor.
I don't want to.
Is it cold there right now in Vegas?
Positive picture, although again, even back to work statistics. I mean, everything Manhattan sort of sets itself apart right now.
Women pools are closed now, right?
Your share over the last couple of years of defaults, whether it was 61 Broadway or 340 Madison or 230 Park. I know you're only a minority stakeholder in One Worldwide Plaza, but there have been some bad news still, Scott. Is that going to continue for some of these buildings that are not the way you just described? Sort of the ones that are in favor.
Listen, I think we've been
5 lucid left.
Inquisitive investors in New York office buildings, right? We've
got 2 weeks left.
7 million square feet of New York Class A office buildings since the last 24 months, and even the buildings that we've gone through that have been what I'll call Class B. We used to call them, remember, film versus digital in our project Kodak, like 61 Broadway. We ended up restructuring the debt and buying it, at the cents on the dollar, and now converting it to residential. Right. So the key in these moments is don't put good money after bad. Make sure that you use this dislocation as an opportunity to invest and be ahead of it. And if you can pick the buildings that ultimately will actually be at the
did you enter
the AI demand
raffle ticket
is growing, you're going to be in a situation where you're going to do great. And you look at New York right now. What's amazing is the tenants are leasing like they haven't ever before.
Yeah, but you can park it though.
Like this 2006 era. The lenders are lending to New York office buildings like they've never before.
So you win, you can just give it somebody that doesn't that wants it. Like
you talk about data centers. Every institution wants to invest in data centers. Yes. No institution wants to invest in New York office buildings. To me, that's the time then to be an investor in a New York office building because you don't have the competition.
But you cut the short or the long?
Because they have legacy issues. There's data centers is the flavor of the month.
Yes.
And this is a way, frankly,
I'll add you in.
actually play AI in a city like New York.
I hope you win.
Driving this economy, but at prices.
Dude, Chip is killing it. He already hit, I think, 2,200.
Over those dark periods when we'd have you on and or at least so far has been.
He won the first one, and then who won the second one? Milk won the second one.
New Yorker and someone that looks at Israel as a sixth borough. I think we got to just say thank you to the president for bringing home the hostages and our 2 other New Yorkers, Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff, for the role they played.
I didn't start it yesterday because it was a holiday, so it's like maybe I just wait till today.
You do a lot in the real estate industry.
Who knows? You may be negotiating the Ukraine war at some point. Scott, thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate
Scott Reckler.
Yeah, really nicely said. As we head to break, quick note, there's still time to sign up and join me tomorrow. The Invest in America Forum here in Washington, D.C. It's a one-of-a-kind gathering convening the biggest names in business alongside key government officials, talk policy, and more about what business is doing, doubling down on America. Visit cnbcevents.com/invest to learn more and to attend. Plus, we've got more here from D.C. in the next hour. U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer joins me as China strikes back with sanctions of its own this morning. We're back in a moment.
Good luck. This horse looks stupid as hell. I see Mr. Simpson with a pink horse. I got your name in there, Google, don't worry. What? I didn't say anything. You're hearing things, Google. I would never talk shit about you, buddy. You got this. I think a screenshot this when it's over too. Look at you, AMD. Yeah, milk is yellow. Yeah, I got a minute. That would be funny if milk actually gonna win. I know. Actually miss talking shit to milk. Oh, Lynn, you up there? Too early. Yeah, too early. Yeah. Man, Gam, you can never win anything. I know. There you go, Smooth. You need this. 10 seconds. Oh, no. He's not gonna win. Oh. I don't know who that guy is. I don't know if he has enough points. I gotta check his points real quick. Can you type points? I don't think he has 25 points. Oh, he got 27 points. He won. Never mind. Congrats, buddy. You got it. Yeah, give me a Twitter so I can DM you and get your information.
And to take charge of your health care. So consider this. An AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan from United Healthcare. Why? Because Medicare alone doesn't
Yeah,
pay for
so you want
everything.
Lucid, right, Gambit?
And what it doesn't pay for, like deductibles,
You
and
sure?
copays,
You can pick
could really
Lucid or
add up,
TPT. It's up to you.
even thousands of dollars a year.
Alright.
Medicare supplement plans help by paying some of what Medicare doesn't, and making your out-of-pocket costs a lot more
Yeah,
predictable.
it's only 50K.
Call United Healthcare today and ask for your free decision guide. Learn more about plan options and rates to fit your
There's only one today, Astro. I had to save the second one for tomorrow or next week.
You'll love that Medicare supplement plans have no networks and no referrals needed. See any doctor, any specialist, anywhere in the U.S., as long as they accept Medicare patients.
I still need your Twitter.
These types of plans also give you more flexibility when traveling in the U.S. Your plan goes with you, anywhere you go in the country. Even better, Medicare supplement plans with the
look at
AARP
this
name
stuff real
are
quick.
plans endorsed by AARP. Call United Healthcare today for your free decision guide. So, if you're on Medicare
Yeah, I sent you a
and
DM.
want less out-of-pocket costs,
Let me know if that works, okay?
and more
Damn it.
peace of
Make sure you
mind,
boot Traderday.
consider adding this, an AARP Medicare supplement plan. Take charge of your healthcare today. Just use this or this to call United Healthcare about
Those,
an AARP
those guys are so
Medicare
nice. I
supplement
used up
plan.
all 5 of them the first week, and they asked, "Are you guys good with freebie?" Like, I'm out. Can I get some more? He gave me 5 more. Yeah, love those guys. Thanks. I'll DM you.
If we had asked you in 1999 whether there'd be sports gambling in America, would have you believed it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm honestly surprised how long it took.
Celebrating 30 years of Squawk Box, weekdays 6 Eastern and streaming on CNBC+.
Good Tuesday morning. Welcome to Money Movers. I'm Carl Quintanilla at Post 9 of the New York Stock Exchange, along with Sarah Eisen, live from Washington, D.C. today. Big banks on the move as
Yeah, I sent you a DM. Just reply back to me.
All top estimates. Wells is leading the S&P this hour, and we are joined by the CFO first on CNBC.
Later.
Understanding the
Have fun.
geopolitical risks for investors right now, be it the dollar or gold to the AI.
Oh, I can't wait to see the private jet. Oh, that's gonna be awesome.
US Trade Rep Jameson Greer, plus more of my conversation with ECB President
Bye.
Christine Lagarde.
Yeah, the giveaway's over. We'll do another one tomorrow. We do one every day.
Cloud tapping AMD this time to deploy 50,000.
We can do Lucid tomorrow.
The move signals about increased competition for market leader Nvidia.
Right now in the markets, we are lower off the worst levels of the pre-market, but the S&P is down about 0.5%.
Did it work?
The
Damn
Dow's
it.
down 37 points. NASDAQ taking it harder, down 1%. Obviously, that's been the big beneficiary
take your time,
lately.
you get it.
Trade is an overhang with more back and forth restrictions from the U.S. and China. China this morning.
Bot's still long. The bot's already up 100 points, so
under pressure as well. And that's where we'll
nothing else to do.
Unofficial start of earnings season is here. Calls from Wells Fargo and Goldman just wrapping up. Citi's conference calls kicking off as we speak. Leslie Picker's been monitoring it all for us this morning.
Just take a break, dude. You're losing. The market is hard right now.
Yeah, there's definitely some
no point.
dispersion in response here. Altogether, though, this deal-making rebound has been a boon for bank earnings. Goldman Sachs' CEO saying on its conference call that the setup
Only up $27. So that's a. This would be like the lowest payout I have on TPT in a while.
Alongside rate cuts, which makes financing such buyouts cheaper. The firm saw revenue generated.
I still want to
from
short.
advising on
That's the
mergers
thing
and
we're gonna.
acquisitions jumped
They're gonna rug us later.
68% during the third quarter, and Solomon said the backlog is at its highest level in
I'm gonna end the stream. Later, guys. See you guys tomorrow.